Hello, I am Gregory, the Poor Typist, and welcome to another episode of Typewriter Club Live. Today, our typing prompt is write a letter to your imaginary friend. So, yeah, I'm sure I had an imaginary friend. I don't remember his name. I'm sure it was a he, and he was probably just an excuse to be able to talk to myself, because that would be less weird. Anyway, we do have Marvin joining us and Peter. So let me let them in. Excellent. Oh, and my sound is off. There we go. Much better.
Hello, Gregory.
Hello, Marvin. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. How are you? What's with the delay, by the way?
Well, in the United States, at least most of the United States, we had our time change. So we're now back to standard time. Previously, we were on daylight savings time. So it changed in the middle of last night.
November, isn't it? It's November. I just remember.
Yes.
Have you received my email?
Yes, I did receive your email. Thank you very much. And I will be responding. I apologize for the delay. But yes, I'm very curious about working on this with you. So it should be interesting. Yeah. And
what's new?
I'm sorry?
What's new in life, Gregory?
What's new? Wow. Not too well, actually. I take that back. But it's completely not typewriter related. As I get older, I've been revisiting some of my interests from my youth. And so fairly recently, I had gone back to throwing boomerangs. But I've developed some pretty severe arthritis in my shoulder. So that's not a good idea to be throwing a boomerang. And I had also gotten into drones. That wasn't something from my youth, obviously, but but here in Riverside, California, it's a very, very drone unfriendly city. So basically there's almost nowhere to fly. I actually joined, there's like a little remote control airfield, and I joined that. But flying a drone with people flying a bunch of airplanes, it didn't seem like a good idea. So so I sort of nixed that. So basically there was nowhere else to fly the drones. So I got to thinking, well, what other things like in this realm could I do? And one of the things I really enjoyed in my youth was flying kites. So I'm getting back into kite flying. And I see William smiling because I know on your profile, I searched on the Type Pals directory and typed up kites, and you came up, you and one other person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm revisiting kites. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So, William, what is your experience with kites?
Oh, experience with kites started when we moved to a little farm that used to belong to a fellow by the name of Jack Kite, and so it got called Kite's Farm.
Oh.
And so Mom figured if we're living on Kite's Farm, us two boys might as well have kites. Well, so we had some kites, and we learned that if we had a nice steady wind, we could tie the end of the string to a fence post, and the kite would stay up in the air by itself. Well, I guess my brother left his kite up one day. We went to school and we had some young heifers, and one of the heifers got tangled up in the kite line, started running around, flying a kite behind her.
Oh,
Of course, that caused quite a stir in the village.
oh,
The villagers say, "Well, we knew it's kites farm. We didn't know that the cows flew kites too."
yeah. That is so
Anyhow,
funny.
And then my uncle lent us. It was affectionately called the Gibson girl because of the shape of the hand cranked radio transmitter, which was supplied as part of the survival kit for downed airmen. It had a box kite that you flew, and the flying line was the antenna, so you could then radio SOS, and it would give you a location. So we had one of these box kites, and we flew that thing for hours and hours and hours. And then I got back into flying. Well, yes. Then what? I don't know if you remember the Peter Powell stunt kite. It was the forerunner of what's called the trilby kite over here now. Oh.
Hey, sorry about that. I had to let the dog out.
Yep, no worries. I don't know if you remember, back in the 70s, there was the Peter Powell stunt kite.
Yes.
That was the first. That was the first two-line kite which you could do aerobatics with, and then that was superseded by the trilby kite back in the, I want to say, the late 80s, which is a fiberglass frame as opposed to aluminum. And then I got into building kites, flying them, got into various kite festivals. I actually became part of the organizing team of a group of kite flyers called Children of the Wind down in Pincher Creek. Now we had a kite festival there probably about 7 years in a row.
Excellent.
And then it just kind of died out.
Yeah. It's pretty rare for me to see people flying kites here in Riverside. I saw it a lot more often in my youth, but now I think people are into drones and stuff like that. So although they can't fly those here either, so yeah. But yes, Marvin was asking me what was new, so I was explaining that I recently got back into kites, so I'm very excited. Okay. I the first kite I received, I hadn't had a chance to fly it yet because we have like no wind, and it's one of these parafoil stunt kites. It's what's the brand?
Flowform?
No, it's the Prism Synapse 140. So it's a small one.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to get one of these that like are pulling you through the sand or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. And I have two more on order. One is I think they refer to it as a box kite.
Yeah.
And the other one is, well, I guess the other one is also a sort of box kite, but it's a very unusual shape. It's kind of like an oval. So, yeah. Anyway, yes, kites.
And if you get into making them, a good supply of high quality rips up nylon is really good. And if you can get the carbon fiber or the fiberglass spars, that also helps. Aluminum tubing does work, but it does bend easily. And once it's bent, basically that's it. You can build frames out of wood, but it's nice to have a circular saw so you can rip them into nice fine laths or strips.
Okay.
You can build kites out of paper, out of yard goods, cloth from your local clothing store. And if ever you're building just a plain ordinary square or diamond kite, always put the warp or the weft parallel to one of the edges. so that your spars go on the diagonal to the fabric. Otherwise, the fabric stretches it stretches the wrong way.
Okay. Excellent. I see Peter here. Peter, how are you doing?
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
My audio now? There we go.
Yes.
I'm doing all right.
Oh,
Just
my.
typing a little bit on the newest addition to the collection here.
Let's zoom in on you here. There
Nice
we go.
Royal 5. It's mostly working. There is one spot where where the carriage likes to stop and all the letters pile on top of each other. But I'm hoping that's due to dirt build up inside, and I can clean that out fairly easily. So, yeah. Other than this, the other new thing is I've started getting into collecting old cameras now, which adds yet another vintage mechanical collectible for me to mess with. Yeah, not too much new for me.
What sort of era of vintage are you collecting?
30s, 40s, and 50s.
Okay, the true vintage ones.
So I've got an Argus A and a Bolsey B2 now. I don't have either of them with me to show you, but they're both nice little 35 mil. Simple cameras.
I remember when I was quite young, 5, 6, or 7, my dad had a couple of Brownie box cameras. I see that my brother and myself use. They were kind of interesting.
Yep. I see those from time to time. Problem with those is that they take different film.
Oh yes, they do the old white format.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. I
actually can't.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I actually can't stick around very long today, but I figured I'd at least stop in and make an appearance.
Oh, we appreciate it. Definitely.
We sure do. Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. And so, Marvin, what are you up to?
I'm writing some letters, but this time not with my typewriter, with my pen.
Okay.
One thing I found out is that since I've gotten used to writing with a dip pen or a fountain pen, when I switch to a ballpoint, my handwriting becomes ugly. I don't
know
why
that feeling,
but it is so.
Yeah, I can see that because fountain pens have a very specific way of, well, dip pens especially have a very specific way of the feel. So your hand is getting used to that feel, and then if you switch to a ball pen, which is pretty much just going to glide with little if any friction, then that would change things up a bit.
Different amounts of pressure for sure.
Yeah.
Ballpoints, I find when I pick a ballpoint up, you have to push so hard to get the thing to move. I'm spoiled now with fountain pens. I'm like, I cannot pick up a ballpoint. They're just not worth my time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My mum is having trouble with her right hand. She had a tendon in her elbow that had to be relocated, so she has very little strength in the hand. And she's found that writing with ballpoint pen anymore is impossible.
It is really difficult. You don't notice it when you haven't done anything else, but once you switch to a fountain pen, it's hard to go back. I couldn't.
And so we got Mum set up with my first wife's old fountain pen, which literally takes 0 down pressure, and she can just make that thing glide over the paper. She says her hand gets tired after 15 minutes, but she's more than willing to work at it and get some letters written to friends.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, there are some gel pens that are okay. Like, I wouldn't say never buy a reusable pen or a disposable, but just not the regular ballpoints. Like there's some different pens, zebras. They have the gel ink. It flows a bit easier. Just not a regular ballpoint.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say about a fountain pen is it's totally hopeless when you want to make a duplicate or triplicate copy on one of those no carbon required forms. Like the work order I use are two-part work orders. You have to press hard enough to make the imprint
that's
come
true.
through on both sides. Yeah.
That's why I don't use fountain pens when I write checks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I don't like to use iron gall inks. I'm worried about the damage to the fountain pens, so I don't like those permanent inks. I avoid that.
Yeah.
What's that?
They make a different ink, like iron gall. Well, calligraphy ink is very different too. So I don't like to use those inks. I prefer to just use very gentle fountain pen, water-based.
Ah,
Yeah.
If memory serves me correctly, the original iron gall ink comes out a very pale tan and reacts with the lignin in the paper and turns quite dark brown.
Oh, wow.
There are a lot of recipes. Jane Austen had a recipe for making her own ink. She was using dip pens, of course, but there are, you can still find the old recipes that people use to make inks.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Somebody made a fountain pen that I'm trying to find an example of one of these days that was intended to work with India inks and other inks that would usually jam up a fountain pen. If I can find one of these, I'm going to grab it.
The Noodler's Boston Safety Pen.
I have one of those, but that's not what I was talking about.
No.
There was one made with a glass nib that she wanted you to be able to use anything like red wine, like anything liquid. So it has a cartridge fill mechanism and a glass nib, so they don't tend to jam up. But again, the quality of your, you don't want to write a letter with red wine. It's not going to be a good letter to read.
And from what I understand, if I'm correct, India ink is actually a pigment-based ink as opposed to a dye-based ink.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know I picked up some purple and some turquoise pigment-based ink from a craft store in the States, tried to use them in a fountain pen, and what I found is that the pigment particulates build up on either side of the channel and plug the channel in the nib. So you have to have a pen with quite a wide channel in between the tines of the lid, so it will flow without jamming. One thing I did find helped is if you thin the ink a little bit and then add some, I think you use glycerin to the ink to stop it from drying so quickly in the nib and to give it a bit more, for want of a better word, lubrication through the flow channel.
Okay.
My pens are too precious to mess with stuff like that. No, nothing for my poor babies. Gentle.
The thing with a lot of fountain pens is that when, like in their heyday, a lot of the inks that were made for them were actually pretty nasty. Like I think the Parker pens had Solvex in it that actually pretty much ate the celluloid on on the pens themselves. But I think most fountain pen inks, if they're made for fountain pens nowadays, are generally pretty safe.
Yeah.
Well, I don't trust everything that Noodler's is doing. He's a wild experimentalist.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're not putting base state blue in your most expensive pen, you're probably fine. But
yeah.
Excellent.
I've got a couple Noodler's inks. I've liked some of the stuff he's done. X Feather's nice, and
his
North
stuff's
African
nice.
Violent is nice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
Keep it
thing
for a
I've
pen
found
that
with
you can afford to replace.
the only thing I've found with some Noodler's inks is that they tend to not dry, especially the longer you have them in your pen.
Okay, yeah. When it comes to not drying, though, it's hard to get worse about that than Organic Studios inks. I have a bottle of their nitrogen ink.
I actually wrote a letter to somebody where I talked about that, how it seems to dry faster inside the pen than it does on the paper.
Yeah, it looks absolutely beautiful on the page, but it is a pain in the neck to put in pens.
Yeah.
I actually want to try running that through. I picked up a Soviet production fountain pen the other day that writes really, really broad and wet, more than I usually use, and I'm wondering if it might work decently in that pen. But...
Yeah, maybe.
Excellent. Now, last
Anyway,
week,
I have to go. So
oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
bye. Pete.
thank you
Yep,
so much,
see ya.
Peter. Have a
All right,
good
Thanks for
one.
dropping by. Take care.
yep. See you later.
So last week, I think it was last week. It may have been the week before. Angela was here, and we didn't get a chance to say hi to her. We were all so chatty. So how are you, Angela?
Was trying to attend on my tablet that day, and that was a little difficult anyway. So I have my laptop back, so I am in business.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's good to
Well,
see you again.
I have a couple of new typewriters.
Ooh, excellent. Do show.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Let me try this light.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I don't know. Hard to figure out where you put the deal.
Oh, that's perfect.
Underwood portable, you can barely see the sticker, or what used to be the sticker at the bottom. It doesn't have a decal on the top, and I have yet to find the serial number on it.
Okay.
It's so hard to do this.
I know.
Serial number, Angela, serial number, move the carriage as far right as it'll go. And then it's on the frame just behind the left ribbon spool. Stamped in at about a 45-degree angle.
Oh, well, I do not see it anywhere.
Now, just in front of the carriage behind. Okay, now put your
Back
finger.
here,
Yes, should be there.
there's nothing there.
Okay. In that case, move the carriage to the left and to check in between the carriage rails on the right-hand side.
I think, yes, I think I see. No, that was just dirt.
Oh.
No, I don't see it. I'll have to look with a flashlight because I'm definitely not seeing it. But anyway, I think it's, from what other pictures I've seen, maybe in 1929. And then these typewriters were waiting for me in Rochester, New York for over a year and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I bought them right before COVID. And then when I was going to go get them and visit my cousin, everything was shut down and we visit. So here's the Hermes baby that I got there, which was the main one that I originally bought. But it also has weird keys on it, like the one I got in Maine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it is QWERTY, not Quartz.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yes.
That's good.
But this is the one I wanted, but I think the Underwood portable is a much better one that I got. Happier with the Underwood portable, which she threw in for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, yes,
the lady
Angela,
that bought- what?
I will say one thing. The little Hermes baby, it still has the factory original spools.
Yeah.
Hang on to them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you notice, they are painted with the same paint as the rest of the machine. They
Yeah.
only have one drive hole in them.
One what?
So one drive hole.
Okay.
Most spools have a ring of 4, 5, or 6 holes. Those
Yeah.
just have a single pinhole as well as a center shaft hole. Yeah. So hang on to the spools.
Oh yeah, I'll hang on to it. That one it sticks a lot, so it'll need some work. The Underwood portable works fine. The third typewriter in the batch was a wide carriage Electra 120 Smith Corona, which I didn't really need at all, but she threw that in for free too once she found out I was a collector. But I came home with 4 typewriters because my cousin found one in the house they moved to, so they gave me that one too.
Wow.
A coronet, which I
Wow.
also don't need, but I figured I might as well take it. I'll find somebody who can use it.
Yeah. Excellent.
The coronet's
good.
not bad because it still has the manual return, and it's not electronic. It's definitely, it's one of the older ones, so it's fun to take.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. And Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How's everybody doing?
Very good. Very good. anything new in your world?
Not,
That doesn't look like
not a whole lot.
info. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the intro we know and love.
That was my youngest daughter.
Okay.
I
That's funny.
guess she's bored.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, she's always welcome.
Mila, je bent altijd welkom. Yes, she heard. She said.
That's very good. Yeah. So, Eric, you were saying.
Yeah, not a whole lot new. Yeah, but I do have a letter on the way to Indro, so
Excellent,
I look forward to that.
He looks surprised.
I got your postcard.
Excellent. All right. And Kimberly, how are you?
Good. I have a lot of excitement over here. I've got the postcard from Ted.
Oh, good.
Yeah, my first Type Pals postcard. Very exciting. And it's
Nice.
that teeny tiny, I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Universe 7-point medium weight. It's so cool. And I got a special birthday card. It's so
Oh.
fun. It's so fun. It's the best one. I've got the best card. And I mean, the little details, like, okay, so the card is blue and the envelope is blue, and even the ink addressing it to me is blue. Like, I noticed these things. These things are cool. And you know, of course, I love the stamp from Williams. I don't know if you can see the horse from
Oh, yeah.
Canada's first rodeo.
Yep.
It's so cool. I love that kind of stuff.
Those-
It makes my day, like, best in the world. I love that kind of thing. Just so exciting.
Oh.
And I don't have all the fun colors of ribbons yet. So when I open up, you know, he sent a letter inside the card, and I'm like, oh, look at this color. So all those little details really are like float my boat. I love that kind of stuff. But I do have new typewriter news too.
Oh, excellent.
So let's see. I'm gonna have to move the camera. One I had actually received a couple weeks ago, but I had to send it to the repair guy because it arrived damaged from shipping. A
Oh.
Voss. And speaking of not able to find the serial number, I don't know where they are on Vosses. I tried moving the carriage and looking in like the normal places, but I don't want to take like the body off the thing. Turn the camera around. It's an italic typeface, so that's pretty cool.
Wow.
And look at the case that it comes. Okay, so it's a Voss Deluxe. That's all I know about it because it has that label. The case has, I don't know if you can tell, like it was engraved, I guess, for the first owner, M.K. May.
Oh, okay.
So that was pretty neat. So that's fresh back from the repair guy. And like I said, an italic typeface, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But more exciting to me, because I just love it so much, I got the Goss and Tippa, the one that Ted promised me 2 wiggly thumbs up. Comes
Nice.
with the case.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and I actually enjoy typing on it, even with the glass keys. It's converted me to glass keys. I'm really having fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's my exciting news.
That's
Big
very
week
exciting.
for a birthday week.
Yeah. Yeah, those are definitely 2 typewriters I would love to have. So
They're awesome.
yeah.
Well, I like I said, my favorite's the Goss and Tippa. Actually, I'm really enjoying it. It's so light. I can carry it around like an iPad or a laptop. I mean, all my other, the Voss is very heavy. It's almost
Yeah.
as heavy as the electric. It's big behemoth.
Very good. Yeah, that's exciting.
And there is
So happy
Yeah.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank
in
you. It's not
advance.
till
Nice.
Tuesday, but
Yes.
like, what an exciting week.
Yeah.
And one thing I have found that with the metal rim glass keys, that the key tends to almost self-center your finger on each key.
Yeah, it's a lot more comfortable than I expected, because I have actually my very first machine, Remington Monarch, has glass keys, and like I said, I didn't enjoy using them. I guess because my fingers just weren't strong enough. Like this is even before I got the electric. Like my fingers were much weaker than they are today, and I didn't enjoy using it. But it could just be because I was brand new to typewriters. I haven't really played with it since. I didn't get a new ribbon because those Remington ribbons, you gotta like wind your own. So I haven't played with it enough to say that I don't really like it, but it didn't make a good first impression on a typewriter newbie. So, but now that I'm more into it, I'll have to give it a serious go.
Yeah.
I love the Gossentippa. Those keys are so comfortable, easy to depress. Like I'm not getting the same exhaustion rate as I am on some of the other typewriters. So yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
So what year would that be? What kind of year of manufacture would it have been made?
The Gossentippa, this one I have, I think, is 1950.
Okay, 50.
That's a bit late for glass rim keys.
Is it? Or maybe it's older. I forget. I did look it up. That is one of the serial numbers I could find, and I did look it up, but maybe I'm getting my typewriter dates mixed up because.
Joe Van Cleve is a person who would know this fact best. Most typewriters switch from metal rimmed glass top keys or celluloid top keys to either the Bakelite or the injection molded around about 1948 to 49.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Post World War II, before the 50s. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I just probably got my dates mixed up because I got a couple of typewriters around the same time.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Excellent.
But I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Very good.
And Angela, Joe Van Cleve is the one who will be able to tell you where to find the serial number on your underwood.
I don't think I've ever had one where I never found it, but some of them are quite the search to figure out where they are.
Yeah. Just got to look.
Yeah.
I'm on the tail end of the conversation. I didn't catch which model of Underwood it was.
Wood portable 4-bank.
The 4-bank portable.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a 1930 Underwood 4-bank, so I'm trying to remember where the serial number is now. I can't remember right now.
Yeah.
Well, my trick for finding where they are is to look in the typewriter database for something similar, and somebody hopefully has taken a photo of where the serial number is. Not everybody does that, and including myself, I don't always include those. But that's the trick that I find.
I seem to remember it's around the carriage somewhere on the Underwood, either on underneath side or along the carriage rails. But that's just a wild guess.
Maybe all it needs is a good cleaning, and then it'll magically appear.
Maybe.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does, Gregory. I think you're right.
Yeah, that happened once or twice to me. So, yeah, I've procured some rather grimy typewriters. So,
and even I'm looking at the FOSS on the typewriter database. There's a photo of the serial number, but it looks to be, you have to move the carriage for that one, but it's not clear.
I did move the carriage and I couldn't see it on either side, but
what model is it exactly? Do you know?
well, I only know it says deluxe on the sticker on the paper table. So a Voss Deluxe. I don't know. Do they have other names?
Well, 24, 32, ST.
It doesn't say. I don't have the paperwork like the manual. I just have. I do have the brush and a cover, but it doesn't say on it. Like it just says Voss. It doesn't say Voss M or Voss 22 or I don't know.
You're right. You don't seem to, it's a little bit like Olympia that doesn't really put model numbers on the machines, but
I hate that.
It's nice. It's an enjoyable typer, and like I said, I bought it for the typeface, which is italic. I'm all about the fancy typefaces.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, I see you're busy, Sean, but I did notice your little intro at the beginning, And now you have your fancy multi-screen view there.
I got a new setup, and I thought I would try stuff out, and it didn't quite all work. The sound didn't go, and I thought it was a little pompous and all that kind of stuff to just like intro myself into a meeting where people are already talking by doing a countdown and that kind of stuff. Like, but I thought I'd try it anyway, so I had it muted. But yeah, I've just got sort of inspired by, you know, Ted and even Joe's video the other week about just sort of setting up different systems to have cameras. So I got my typewriter cam, got my main cam, and I'm just sort of I'm a real newbie at this. I mean, I'd rather spend money on new typewriters, but I also enjoy this club environment. So I really wanted to try to raise my game a little bit so it makes it easier to show stuff off. Yeah, I don't know. Does it seem cheesy or tacky? Does it work? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
I think it's cheesy.
Okay.
Love it.
If you were in Wisconsin, cheesy would be good. So.
Well, you know, normally I am pretty cheesy, Joe. So, you know.
Oh, I'm trying out a new camera myself. Not a new camera. I'm just trying a GoPro this morning. Okay. And I can't control the exposure. So it's my forehead is overexposed here. But the connection on the camera is a little more reliable. So I don't have to worry about moving the camera, but I don't have the control of my video quality that I would with my other
Joe,
camera.
if it makes you feel better, Joe, that's why I'm wearing my hat to this easy hat.
Is that what it is? I have
because
to
this was overexposed too.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was winter in Calgary. I'm like, oh no, they're dying over there.
This is my Victorian smoking hat.
So the Underwood forebank I have, it's screwed down to the base currently, right? The little screws. I can't find the serial number anywhere visible underneath the carriage or anywhere on top, so I'm going to assume it's underneath the machine on the bottom.
Okay. Thanks for that, Joe.
Yep.
Now, Joe, with your audio and video, I do notice it's a little out of sync. So I don't know if
yeah, it is, and this is the first time I've tried it.
Yeah.
So it's probably the GoPro is doing it, and I'll
sure
I'll probably end up switching back to my Panasonic camera here in a few minutes because it is kind of driving me crazy. There's a lag between when I talk and like if I move my hand across the screen, it's about a 3-second delay. So anyways, what I'll do is I'll sign off and I'll come back on. So okay.
It's just like watching like Netflix with subtitles and a little lag.
Okay, Kimberly, I've got an answer for you on your Voss.
Yes.
So this is my Voss, which is pretty much the same as your Voss.
Cool.
But
it's not a Voss,
yeah, where is it? It's right down in the back. It's right down in the back on this bar down here when you put the carriage to the left.
Yeah.
Oh, sneaky. I'll have to go have a look at okay.
And it's actually in a couple spots, but yeah, that's where it is. So, and it's on a fancy nameplate. It's not just stamped in. It's like, real German engineering. They put their own plate with the NR and a nice number on it. And
wow.
Put it on.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Sean. As I would never have found it. I mean, I looked there, but obviously I didn't look behind, like that angle. Like,
yeah, they put it on a couple other spots, but I can't remember where those are right now. The Germans like to number absolutely everything so that you knew.
I looked underneath. I looked everywhere. I mean, the typical places you find them on the other machines, and I couldn't find them.
Yeah, I think some of these companies look for what other companies do and then decide to put it somewhere completely different so that they're special. I don't know. That's probably not true, but
yeah,
seems that way.
Excellent.
When you're looking at a Skywriter on eBay, you try to explain to the seller where to find the serial number if you can get the serial number, and they say it doesn't have a serial number. So it's not. So what I found the best thing to do is I now have a picture of my 4Y series on my computer, so I'm going to send them a picture of that. Here's where to find the serial number. Yeah. Oh, it does have one.
Yeah, William, that's a trick I've used as well. Is actually find a photo in the typewriter database and say, okay, this is what you're looking for, and then they it's because the people usually that I buy typewriters from, they're not as interested in me. So they don't really.
Well, they are
very much
often estate sale hunters, yard sale hunters. looking to flip a machine and make a few dollars on each one, and like,
or they might have a general interest in antiques in general, like just like old things,
Yes.
but not know about specifics.
Yeah.
Well, I've all of the machines I've bought were directly from the owners, not like people flipping. And usually the machines have been sitting idle for a long time, and usually they weren't the ones using it. So
yes,
Yeah.
so if it is an estate, it's an estate, but it's a family member that is selling.
Yeah.
Like this 1947. I don't know if I'll be able to show it correctly, but this 1947 Royal Qdl only had one owner, and he bought it in 47 or 48 maybe, but and I bought it from the daughter of the original owner. So so that's kind of like the best. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily, and I think you have to be a little bit passionate to look into those and what's the serial number, and the biggest thing for me is what's the typeface. Like can you show me an example of what it's typing? And they say, oh, it doesn't have a ribbon. And then it's like, okay, then send me a picture of the type bars, just like a zoomed up of the type bars. And usually that makes it. But yeah, like I even bought one typewriter where the granddaughter was selling her grandmother's typewriter, and she couldn't answer any of the questions. And one of the reasons she couldn't is that all the typefaces were gummed up, like so gummed up you couldn't even see the typeface on them. And the machine was broken. The carriage return lever was bent down. You couldn't do very much with it. So that in that case, it was a little bit, it was in a sad state. Even if I had to ask, I think that it was too much for that.
Yeah. Excellent.
But that ended up being a cursive Olympia. And
yeah, you never know.
You never know.
I don't mind the people flipping. Sometimes you feel like you have to rescue it even more because I got to get it out of the hands of someone who doesn't understand it and doesn't like it as much as I do. I'll take that.
Yeah.
A bit like the letterhead that Bill Guthrie had a while ago. Centre for Typewritten Correspondence and Typewriter Reclamation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so my Olympia SM4 with the true cursive face was one of my best finds. Yes, I paid $125 US for it plus shipping. I bought it from a daughter of the original owner who was cleaning out her estate. It wasn't pictured very well, it wasn't advertised very well, but because I wanted to picture it, it had cursive type on it. So I bought it. All it needs now is have the button renewed and we'll be good to go.
Excellent.
So mind you, I thought it was a great find to find to have the cursive Olympia. It's actually a Monica Deluxe, which is kind of like a small SM9. And it was a late model too. It's a plastic frame and everything. But it is difficult to read. In fact, like okay, so for a small letter, maybe it's okay, but for long text, I think it's
I
not
love them.
It's
You
not
can
the most
send a letter to
readable.
me.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
read it.
But I think probably of all the people that are on this Zoom call, I think you're the most welcoming of all types of letters and fonts. So it's great.
Well,
It's great to hear
they're
that.
fun. And you know what? I learned, in school, I was, I guess, one of the last generations that they still taught cursive. So I know how to read it. Like, I'm one of the few people on earth who know how to read, even Spencerian. It's like natural to me. I don't struggle with the letters. So bring it on.
And
people. Can't people read?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The one thing I have found about it, if you type in a cursive typewriter, it's really handy to have one with the what I call a fine tooth line advance ratchet, so you can space 1.5 lines. So you have half a line between lines of type, so you can clearly differentiate each line.
Yeah.
If you only have if you have the coarse ratchet, only single or double. Single, they clutter. Double almost seems too spaced out.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I forget who it was who told me that if you're typing on both sides of a piece of paper, double space, and then turn the paper over and then adjust the paper so that your backside typing falls in between the lines of type on your front side.
That's smart. I'll have to try that. That is very smart.
Very good.
I have a horror story, I guess, for shipping. You know, I buy all of my typewriters online, and my latest horror story, if you can say that, I bought Adler Contessa Deluxe because it had a cubic font. I don't know if you want to call it techno, whatever. I don't know what Adler called them. And only because of the typeface. That's why I got it. And they sent the wrong one. They sent like a regular pica typeface. So I contacted the seller and said, sorry, you sent me the wrong Adler. So now I'm getting another Adler. So I have a spare Adler if anybody needs.
Wow.
That was my horror story. And I have an extra typewriter too for the price of one.
Wow.
Wow.
Very good.
That almost sounds like a bait and switch story.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
So Marvin was going to say something before I interrupted.
No, I was wondering, can't people read cursive? I mean, the way Kimberly said it is implicitly saying that there are many people who can't read cursive. Is that true?
Younger generations, absolutely. Younger generations do not.
Yeah, that's stupidity.
No, it's not taught anymore. The schools don't think it's important.
Yes,
it depends on the province. Kimberly's talking probably about Ontario.
Yes. Sorry, I work for the school board, Toronto District School Board. They don't teach cursive. They might have like an after-school club or something where they teach cursive, but it's not part of the curriculum.
It is still in Quebec. So just to make this
okay.
So
yeah,
I think it varies by province. It might vary by province, but I agree with Kim that's it's known that it's not taught, and I find that a little bit sad in a way because it makes that generation unable to read any previous archived documentation, any handwritten letters, or anybody that wants to be a historian and do research.
But they also don't know those skills either. They don't know how to look up microfiche. They've never heard of that. But it's not only the younger generations. I find even people my own age or a little bit older, if you don't use cursive, you forget. And people struggle reading other people's handwriting because either it's very sloppy or whatever. Cursive is just very seldom used by any age in Ontario.
Is the problem? Not the problem. Sorry. My vocabulary has decreased because I am drunk. Do people are people unable to read if they are just unclear, or if I write very clear cursive, can they read it or not?
Everybody's different. I can read cursive. I still read it. I still use it. But we're each individuals. Some people don't value it, don't like it. They prefer to just text. I mean, I get a lot of communications that are BRB or TTYL. I prefer full sentences with commas and spaces and periods. So, it's up to the individual how we like to communicate.
Yes, but how do I say this? Because most of the letters,
if you don't use it, you.
Yeah, I mean, I would exclude Z. The letter Z, the lowercase Z is a bit non-intuitive. But I would say most of the letters in cursive are intuitive. Let's say the C in cursive is almost the same as a typed C.
Exactly.
The D, the E, the F, the G, not the G.
If you have neat handwriting, I have parents filling out forms to register their child for school, like kindergarten, brand new, and I can't even read their printing. I'm like, is that an 8 or a 6? I don't know what your phone number is. Like, it depends on, like, if you don't use it as a skill, if you're used to just texting, you will lose the ability to even print your name. If you don't use it, you lose it.
No, I was talking about reading.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
yes.
saying. I can't read some people's writing, and I can read cursive. But if it's sloppy, if you really slur your writing together and maybe the space between your characters are too smushed, I might not be able to tell that you wrote a C. It might look like an O, might look like a P, depending on if you have a very long extender. I mean, people get sloppy, right?
Yep.
And so so that was the question. So if I wrote perfect cursive, let's say I was Spencer himself, and I let's say I was Spencer himself, and I wrote perfect cursive, would people be able to read it?
Those who learn cursive, yes. Those who have never, they have problems. I remember hearing a story about one school teacher who wrote a paragraph in perfect cursive on a blackboard and then asked the students to copy that out. And I think 2 students were able to copy it out. The other said, "What language is that?"
Yeah.
It's because there's sorry, I'm going to raise my voice a bit because my that voice was annoying. There's a part of me that deeply regrets that situation because yes, there are two personas in me. The first is the modern me, which you're talking to right now. The second is the Edwardian me, the Victorian me, who writes in old style. If I am writing in perfect Victorian, early Victorian, that is, I would even use the long S. Do you know what the long S is? Yes, I would use the long S. And at least 90% of those I correspond with are maybe intellectually able enough to know that that is an S, maybe through intuition or maybe through their studies. So it's quite saddening to know that there are parts of the world where people are dim enough to not read even standard cursive.
Well, if it's not valuable in their life or in their future or in their workplace, maybe it's not stupidity. Maybe it's just not a valued trait or usefulness, right? You don't have to stay stuck in the past. I like it. I'm not, I'm trying to be both sides. I don't think they're stupid. I do not think the younger generation of students are stupid. I think they know stuff that you can't even comprehend. But, it's what do you value? If you value something, you study it or you get interested in it, right? Even as a hobby. If you value it, you spend the time to learn about it. If it's not useful to you, maybe in your career or it's okay to drop it off on the side. I mean, we have other things that we need that are useful to us. So it's just a different lifestyle, a different culture. I don't see things as better or worse or smart or stupid. It's a different culture, a different value system. They're still good people. They're still very intelligent. We just like different things.
That's true.
Especially the typewriter. I love the typewriter, but we cannot deny that the typewriter was one of the inventions that led to the downfall of cursive.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
The typewriter led to the cursor, though.
Yes.
It was the intermediary. It went to the cursor, and then you end up being the person behind the keyboard doing the cursing. The cursor is the person doing the cursing at the computer.
That's almost a poem there, Joe. You just ad-libbed the poem right there.
Oh, that's funny.
We should have an open mic night for Joe.
Oh, you don't want that. I don't think you want that.
That's funny. So getting back to Sean, was there anything else new with you, Sean?
No, not really. I've got I'm following up. I don't want to ruin it by, sometimes when you talk about things, you screw yourself over. So that's why we all knock on wood. But
True.
I'm pursuing a antique typewriter. Like I've never really gone earlier than the 1920s for the most part. I like usable typewriters that I can type on. And while I completely appreciate all the people that collect wood and really weird looking typewriters with weird keyboards in the early golden age, it's never held really an interest for me. But one's come up here at an auction, so I'm pursuing it, and we'll see. I mean, I don't want to screw myself over, but I have no idea. Like, it's funny, it's like being a newbie in typewriters again, right? I mean, I can tell you anything about Olympia's 3s, 4s, 7s, and everything from 1925 on till 1980, no problem off the top of my head in most cases. But you start talking about Hammonds and Scholls and bars and calligraphs, like I don't even know what the hell half these things are. So I'm sort of excited, right? Being a bit of a newbie again means you got to do a lot of research, you got to read a lot, you got to, depend on all of our typosphere friends here to give you information when they know about stuff. And yeah, so it's a little bit exciting. So I got really nothing new at this point. I've had to cool it a little bit lately because, the more boxes show up at the house, my wife, who's working from home, I can't get them into the house, into the basement before she sees them anymore. So I've sort of been on a real fine line of trouble for the last few months. So I'm trying to calm her down. But yeah, other than that, nothing really. I do have stuff. I could go on for hours about all the cool little doodads, but I'm not going to because I don't want to hog the conversation. So thank you.
Now, I must say you have gained some actually significant skills that are translatable to those older typewriters. So, I'm sure the learning curve won't be quite as steep, but still it's a different ball game.
Yeah, and I don't, and those typewriters tend to cost a lot more and their usability is very limited, right? I mean, they were built in a much different time before, mass production. And so you just can't whip out a 1902 Burroughs or something like that and then start typing away on it, right? I mean, some of them are fragile now just because of their age. And even if you got a new platen and rubber rollers, you probably still couldn't necessarily use it. And I'm a big believer in the ultimate recycling, right? Why buy something new when you can reuse something that already exists? We've been making all this stuff for years and years. So I love typewriters. I don't own a typewriter that doesn't work. I don't own a vacuum tube radio that doesn't work, a Coleman lantern, or any of the other myriad of crazy, weird stuff I collect. It's all got to work because that's the value of it. Otherwise, it just takes up space. So that's why I sort of stayed away from those classic typewriters. Was I just didn't want to have something just to display. I want to be able to pull it out and type on it or whatever. So yeah, it'll be an interesting thing. I might not even get it. I talked to Greg Antique Shop, and I sent it to him, and he said, "Oh my God, that's great. That's going to be worth about $3,000." And I went, "Oh, that's not what I'm looking to spend here." Wow. He goes, "Well, hopefully you get it from cheaper." But he goes, "If you get it, you could easily sell it for $3,000. And if you don't get that, I've got one in better shape that I'll sell you. But it ain't cheap." And I'm going, "Well, if that's $3,000 and it's okay, then the one he's got is, yeah, see, that's just not a business I'm going to get into." That's my thing.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary territory for me. I really have absolutely no interest in those really old ones, just because I feel like it's going to be a matter of upkeep as much as it is usage, and I'm all about usage. I gave up on well, I don't mind minor things, obviously, but repairs, no, I'm done with all that.
Well, you know Bob anyway, so you're covered on that angle.
Exactly,
everybody's in a different situation. When you got a Bob around, that's great. When you got Joe or Phoenix Typewriters videos, and you can learn, great. Everybody's in their own situation. But yeah, I'm in the same boat you. I'm a user. I'm not going to say I'm a user. That sounds bad, but I'm a user, and I got to use you. Yeah, no. If you're a typewriter, you're going to work. You got to have your work. So,
yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
Well, they're just too much fun to just stare at it. Like, you'd be itching to use it, even though if you knew you can't. Like, they're just too much fun not to use.
we're all different ages here, but all of us have little children inside that you see a typewriter and you want to go, you gotta.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. And I do love that hat, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's actually I think it's a Harry Potter hat.
Okay. Dumbledore, maybe?
I think it's Dumbledore. Yeah.
I was thinking it was a crown, like you want to be king.
Yeah. No, I bought it because it was the closest I could get to that Victorian smoking jacket hat combo, right?
Yeah.
All I need is a cigar, and I need that silk jacket, and then I can, drink a scotch on a club chair and
pontificate.
Yeah, and pontificate about the situation in India.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. And Indro, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm leaving in a few minutes. I'm going to watch the Grand Prix of Mexico with some friends.
Excellent.
So I think it starts in an hour, so I have to leave in a few minutes.
Okay.
So Max Verstappen, he's leading the championship, and there's a few races left, so it's exciting. I'm not sure if there's some Formula One fans over there.
We have a lot over here, yeah. My bosses are all from the UK originally, and they talk nonstop about F1, and I'm not into it, so I don't get it all. But if they don't almost come to fisticuffs about Ferrari, I don't know like what else will bring them to blows. But when they talk Ferrari, they get at each other. Ferrari sucks. Ferrari's the best. They'll come back. They won't know. But I don't know.
I was a fan for many, many years. I used to watch every race on the Sunday when they were on. And strangely, I never once took the great opportunity to go to the Grand Prix in Montreal, which for many, many years was very affordable and was one of the most accessible one where you could actually see the cars from close. And then I kind of like stopped watching. It became a little bit ridiculous with a lot of money spent, like big budgets, and less about the driving and more about some of the rules and everything. So I got a bit discouraged by it. But when I was like a teenager and an early adult, yes, I followed it very much, and I guess it helped that we had Gilles Villeneuve early on driving Ferrari in the 70s, and we had his son Jacques Villeneuve a few years later with World Championship. So
yeah, every year I visit Le Mans, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. That is really, really nice.
Oh, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the 1 year in Le Mans, where Shelby were entering 4 cars, and Enzo Ferrari protested, and so he won by politics as opposed to by actually winning the race.
Do you guys who are Formula One fans, do you look fondly back on the days of unlimited horsepower?
Correct, I do.
Yeah, like when Senna was killed, but it was the day of when racing was really dangerous but fun to watch, right?
Mm-hmm. And Senna was was a big name for me. I was a big fan, and he had incredible abilities. At Monaco under the rain, he almost lapped number 2, or maybe he even did. Yeah. Senna had great abilities, and everything was about winning. He'd drive very, very fast in order to win. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe we can say a quick hi to May before she leaves for lunch.
Oh no, I'm staying on. I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich.
Oh,
I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. It's noon here.
What kind of
Yeah.
sandwich are we making, May?
I'm gonna make a ham, just a simple ham, cheese, and lettuce
All right.
sandwich. Something very quick, but I'm over here in the kitchen. I can still hear
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Very
Okay,
good.
fair enough.
Bon appetit.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
As I often tease people that this weekend is a long weekend. That's it. A long weekend?
Yeah.
There's an hour longer.
Yeah.
Extra hour.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So our
Some.
family, I was going to say back on the racing thing, just briefly, our family wasn't into Formula One, but my dad was a real Indy 500 fan. And the main reason is because the Unser family was from Albuquerque. So there was like a local connection. So every Memorial Day, Dad would crank up the combo stereo, the console stereo, and open the windows and you'd hear the race going on for 3 or 4 hours on the radio. That was always fun.
Yeah. Excellent. And let's see here. And Indra, did you have anything new or?
No. Today was the first day in a long time I spent some time behind the typewriter to write
Good.
letters. So some people can expect something. So that took me a long time before I was able to write again. I was too busy.
Yeah.
You need to create some time to write, I think. So if you're off from work and your mind is not set to writing letters, I think. But so today was a good day.
Excellent. That's good to hear. And I definitely have a similar thing. With me, it's more. I'm juggling projects constantly, both typewriter related and not, and then just life issues like weighing on my mind, and so I've been very distracted from using the typewriters, which makes me feel guilty because here I am running Type Pals, and I don't even remember the last time I wrote a letter. So actually, I think the last one was to Ted. Yeah. So
I just finished a letter that that has been sitting in my typewriter since I think I started it October 11th. So.
Oh wow!
I haven't
Yeah.
been doing much of that either. But I have noticed that when I'm really frustrated or having a bad day or something, I usually forget, but my wife will say, "Hey, maybe you should just go type for a while."
There you go. Typewriter therapy.
Doesn't matter what, you just go type for a while.
Yes. That's good advice. Maybe that's what I'll do with the rest of my afternoon. Yeah. Let's see here. And Joe, what's new with you?
Well, thanks. Well, let's see. Last week I was I got my COVID booster on Sunday. We went to the rail yards, and we know a nurse friend of ours who's part of our typewriter club, and she was telling us that she would be at the rail yard. So I got my booster shot, and then Monday I felt really under the weather because of the booster shot, and which was interesting because the first 2 COVID shots I had earlier this year, I didn't have hardly any effect at all from it, But anyway, so I only got one video done last week, and I have a couple ideas for this week. So I'm going to probably try to crank out a video this afternoon if I can. But last week I was tinkering around with my newly finished Afghan box camera version, and I was doing some tests, and my friend Ethan calls it the Infinite Joe series because I'm constantly, the only person that wants to volunteer to be a subject for a portrait is myself around my house. So let me see if I can't focus on that. And it's a little overexposed because of the camera, but let's see if I can.
Perfectly artsy, Joe. That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
It could be on the
No,
back
it looks
cover of the
good.
book.
There's a
Actually.
little bit of a stain
Yeah.
right here along but that's just from, maybe I didn't rinse the print. But this is Harman direct positive paper. So this is fiber-based paper, right? So it's thick and it takes a while to dry. It's not like plastic-coated photo paper, but it does a really good job as far as a nice print. But so this was outside on the north side of my shed, and I had a focusing string set up on the front of the camera that I had a little target attached to, and I used a yardstick, and I stretched out the string so it was tight, and then I focused the camera inside and set it. And then when I get out in front of the camera, after I load the paper in the camera, I just stretch out this focusing target to my eye. So the string is tight, right? So I get my focus set. And then I lower that, keep my head still, and I have a remote shutter cable that's long enough I can reach, and then I shoot it. I had a reflector to try to fill in the shadows.
Oh.
That's why it came out pretty good. It was
Yeah.
filled in the shadows. So anyways, yeah, that was just a little test. And yeah, it came out good, and I look forward.
Is that what they call a selfie?
Yeah, it is a selfie for sure. Definitely. I had a couple good ones actually. Yeah. Let's see. This was another pretty good one, but it was, you can't really see it, but it's slightly out of focus, but not too bad. So anyways, that's what I was doing last weekend. And so as far as typewriters, I'm using the Underwood Portable, right, from 1930. And it's been working pretty good. I have a nice dark ribbon on it. And I think the ribbon is maybe a Baco ribbon that I got from Bob Marshall, actually.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so that's been going good. And no new typewriters. I have not been going to the thrift stores or antique stores or anything.
It's probably best.
Yeah, it's probably best. I mean, every now and then I do think about it, or I drive by one and I think I should really go in, and then I think, no, you don't need another typewriter. But you know, who knows? Eventually.
How many standard typewriters do you have in your collection now?
Oh, it's probably around 30. I mean, I've pretty much frozen my collection. I think the last one I got was the Optima Super.
Oh, okay.
From John Lewis. That was earlier this year. So I haven't gotten any new ones since then.
Oh, yeah, but I mean standard typewriters.
Oh, standard. Oh, I have two. I have the Royal 10, which is right there under the towel, and then the Royal KMM.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Because those can take
up
a lot of space.
No, they do take desk room, and you have to make room for them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I was thinking the other day or last week, I did a lot of typing, just like private typing to myself. And I was thinking, if you had to reduce the collection down to the bare essentials, it would be like maybe the Groma Calibri is an ultra portable, and then one good standard typewriter, right? Like the KMM, for instance, and then maybe a Type R electric. And it would be hard for me to give up all the other machines, but I was using the blue 1950s Type R Smith Corona Type R electric last week. And in fact, I'll probably make a video about it today if I feel inspired. But I also like the Smith Corona Singer brand from the 60s that I have.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those Type R electrics are manual carriage return. So
nice. Yeah.
And I think, if you had just three typewriters like those three I described, I would probably be using the electric for really serious projects, like long projects, and obviously. And then the ultra portable is the one you take with you. And then the standard one is just the knock around the house, typing letters and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I find my Aunt Pat's typewriter here on the tall stand, I end up using it a lot for envelopes. It's just convenient, and it takes an envelope really good. It has a heavy enough big platen and a heavy spring on the paper bales that you can roll through envelopes pretty well, and even postcards.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
Yeah.
Very
so
good.
other than that, nothing really else going on.
Okay.
So, quick question, Joe. Your Type R electric, is that a reel-to-reel ribbon or a side load cartridge?
Oh, they're all reel-to-reels. They're all
Okay.
standard cloth ribbons. Yeah, those are the only kind I like. Yep.
Okay.
Me too.
I know May really likes her Type R electrics also. The
I
Smith
do.
Coronas. Yeah.
And the Selectric as well.
Yeah.
Like you said, for fast typing.
Yeah. I'm not sure, that would be an interesting contest if you could find, well, you'd probably have to do it yourself, but you'd have to time yourself like a page of so many words, and to see which one you could type the fastest on. Because I'm pretty quick on both a Selectric and a Type R electric. And, I probably the Selectric would be faster, I assume. but the Typewriter electric is up there with it. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not that speed is important necessarily, especially if you're being creative, and the real limiting factor is how fast can you think. It's not how fast you can move your fingers, right?
That's my problem. Well, I should say I can think fast. It's just I'm overthinking what I want to type.
Yeah. Well, and then I get in the habit with an electric. I'll of course turn it off while I'm thinking, because I don't want to sit there and let the motor run and the belts wear, just waiting to come up with an idea. So
I don't know. That sound can be pretty hypnotic, though.
It is. It can be very much so.
I just turn him off when I have to sit and think
yeah.
and read over what I've just typed. It's got a little switch. Just turn
That's
it
right.
on.
It's so easy.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Gregory, I don't know if anybody asks you, I forget now, do you ever tell us what you're up to? Like, does anybody come up to, you go through the circuit here of everybody, I know, but does anybody ask you what's going on?
Strangely enough, today someone did.
Oh, really? Okay.
Marvin asked me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was explaining at the beginning how for the past maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, I've been revisiting interests from my youth. So I had gotten back into boomerangs a few years ago, and
so they returned to you.
Well, that's another story, but I've been getting pretty bad arthritis in my shoulder, so boomerangs are pretty much out of the question for me now.
Are you left-handed?
No, but I have arthritis in both shoulders.
Okay.
This is the bad one, and this one I can feel it like starting. So I'm like, no. It's bad enough to have one bad shoulder. But then I got into drones a little bit, but I was explaining how Riverside is not drone friendly. There's only one place you can legally fly drones here. And then that, of course, is with the permission of the FAA. So you have to, like, before you fly, you have to request permission. So that was extremely discouraging. So then I was like, well, what else from my youth can I get into? And so I was discussing with William in particular at the beginning that I very recently got back into kites. So
I was going to say kite flying is an alternative to drones. Yes. In fact, legally, if you anchor a drone with a string to the ground, it's no longer illegally a drone.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes. Kites are exempt from the drone laws. The trick is not having the drone propeller blades cut your kite string, but usually they have a shroud around them.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to put a little GoPro camera on one of my kites, actually. Yeah. And in fact, one of the places I used to like to fly, I haven't flown a kite in a few years, but I used to like to fly in this park that's right next to the Kirtland Air Force Base, next to the runway, like within a quarter mile of it. And you're not supposed to be above 500 feet or whatever, but I have like a kite reel with like 1,500 feet of kite string. I have to be careful how high I fly that. But
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, William.
In England, you are not allowed to fly a kite above 200 feet within 3 miles of an airport, and not allowed to fly at all within 1 mile. And the height limit for flying a kite in England is actually 200 feet above ground. Over here, it's 500 feet above ground, anywhere within 5 miles of an airport, but outside that, as far as I know, there is no limit.
Yeah.
And I have a reel with 1,500 feet of line on it. Well, one thing I used to really enjoy doing is if you can find a field of freshly tilled ground on a calm day with nice warm sun, you start getting thermals lifting up. So you set a nice light delta the other side of the field, run your line out, feel the warm, feel the cool air rushing in, get that kite up the ground, and then it will actually ride the thermal in a gentle circle up to 1,500 feet. Then you out of line. That see the little kite wave in the sky. Then it just drops out and floats all the way down. So now you've got to wind that line in awful quick before it tangles.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I made a couple kite reels a few years ago, and you can turn them like this. They have two handles, and you can really pull in a lot of line quickly if the wind dies. And that's usually the kind of wind I like to fly in, is really light wind where it kind of comes and goes. There'll be, breeze will come in for 10 minutes and then it'll kind of die off. And then 10 minutes later, it comes back in,
The reel I made for that, the outside is about that size, close to a foot, and has a ring of 5/8 dowels and a center one with a slip handle on it and a crank handle with a wooden weight the other side to balance it, like a counterweight on a steam engine wheel.
Yeah, mine is similar to that, but it has instead of a center dowel, they're two opposite each other, and they're using bolts with PVC pipes for handles, and you can just crank it like that. And
Now, is yours round or flat?
It's round. It's like it's a cylinder. So I'm using a couple pieces of masonite board, with some space between them as for the string. And I usually, set the Delta kite on its tail, on its back, pointing up on the ground. And then you walk backwards with about 100 feet of line, and then just wait for the wind to blow and just yank it, and it'll pop up in the air.
Yeah. And if ever you have to run with a kite, it's either a bad kite or they're not right, or not the right flying conditions.
Right, or the FAA is after you, and you have to run, run with your kite away from them.
My brother always got caught in a tree every time. We would go into a park with no trees. He'd find the one tree every time.
Oh boy.
Well, there is actually a scientific explanation for that. Because trees absorb light, you don't get heat rising from trees the same rate as rises from the ground. So you have a column of cooler air above the tree, so the kite drops into it.
Oh, my mom just called him Charlie Brown. She's like, "You fly a kite like Charlie Brown."
That is funny. Well, Joe, I think you need to do a kite video. I would love to do that.
I do, actually. I say I was going to put a GoPro on it. I actually have some little knockoff video camera that's lighter in weight than a GoPro. Not quite as good a video, but it's going to be easier to get it up there airborne, I think.
Yeah.
And I was when I was into kites more, maybe a decade ago, I started using these little fishing, the little quick disconnect metal fittings for connecting fishing lures and stuff. I use those to connect the tails and the bridles and all that, because it made it quicker than trying to tie knots on it. So yeah. So I have to dig my kite out of the trunk of my little Mazda car, because that's usually where it was stored. And I don't know if the fabric on it is rotted out now. It's a nylon kite, so it should be okay. But
yeah. Well, anyway, thank you very much for asking.
Sure.
I appreciate it. And Daniel, how are you doing? Anything new with you?
Yeah, thank you. A few things, and I wasn't able to participate last weekend. One of them was because I was trying to finish my short story. There was this contest that Lucas Qdl, who fixes typewriters and sells typewriters, that he put together, and I said, I'm going to try my hand at writing a short story. The theme was horror, and I was having trouble finding something like very horrific to write about. It's not a style that I read a lot, or I don't watch horror movies, so it was kind of like not very familiar to me, but I still thought it was an interesting exercise, and I learned so much about it. I wrote one OTP page to like a couple of paragraphs about that, and how at first I was racking my brain about like the story and writing down little notes, and in the end, it's when I got to really writing that it's during the process of writing that I got more creative. So that's funny because I was trying to put things down as an outline, and I thought it'd be kind of like follow the outline. And sometimes in my story, like the characters were taking me somewhere I didn't really want to, or the story was I was getting into, at first I was getting into too much of a techno, medical techno thing, and I think it would have been boring, and so tremendously surprising that I hadn't written fiction for many years, and I liked it a lot, and maybe as a comment, yeah, I changed the story about 3 times in the course of writing.
Wow.
And which put me pretty late in trying to type the clean copy, which is, so I typed it on my Lettera 32. So I typed all the drafts, and I double spaced it so that I would have room for adding things or changing and handwriting in between. So that worked pretty well. But at the end, I think I should have switched to an electric typewriter to go faster, to type it clean, because then I would. It's not like I was thinking as much. I was just about ordering thing. I ran out of time so much that I finished at the very, very last minute. I emailed it 3 minutes before the deadline. So that's how tight it was. And I ended up cutting 2.5 pages to imagine, just to make that deadline. So another lesson is you can never start too early to the story. And maybe everybody knows that already. Everybody that writes, for as a hobby or professionally knows that. I write a lot for my work, but it's nonfiction, and I know what I want to write, and I'm pretty good about writing it. So I don't know exactly, but you can probably write it better in a shorter version, or it's just a process of having 3 versions that sounds to work better. And so I was quite happy about that. So just to maybe talk about, now I have a cat that's scratching the door to get out. I'm just gonna, now the benefit of having a headset that is Bluetooth connected is I can continue listening and talking while I'm moving away from the camera. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about was I was very surprised at how good eraser pens are with corrections. I actually didn't. I have those 2. One of them is a Dixon Rubicore, which and it's paper that you unroll here, and this one is more traditional, where you need to sharpen it on a pencil sharpener, and it has a little brush at the back, and that's a Eberhard Faber Singlex. And to my surprise, it works pretty well. Just for fun, I tried correcting typos with those, and once I was done, it worked. So to my surprise, it was pretty good. Yeah, so UP. These are vintage, new old stock. So I don't think anybody can find those new anymore. But they were sent to me by a lovely lady, Linda Rocky, that's a contributor to OTP, and she sent me a little care package. Bless her heart. It was very, very nice of her to send me a few things, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I copied Sean in Calgary, I got myself a Bates eyeliner, which I found in Guelph. So, Kimberly, it wasn't too far from you, like closer to you than to me, but that was mailed to me, and it's in pretty good shape. Now I need to find the eyelets and get some really good ribbon to put in my typewriters. Right now, I don't necessarily have very good ribbon. But yeah, so that's what's new. And I did get for $15 Canadian a typewriter that seemed like a lost cause from a store that's called Value Village, which is a thrift store. And it's a model that I had never seen, and it's not on a typewriter database. It's a Smith Corona Office 7000. And it's like the cover is molded or cast aluminum, and it's a Series 8 mechanism inside with a cartridge. So these are the cartridge, like the pistol-like cartridge that Smith Corona uses. And strangely enough, so I haven't been able to make it run yet. It was in pretty bad shape, but the cord didn't come with it. That model has a cord that is detachable. That, unlike many of the other electric typewriters that I have, where the cord is hardwired. Maybe that's the wrong term, but it doesn't have a connector. This one has a two-prong plug in the body, and the cord didn't come with the typewriter. I don't know why, but I'll have to figure out something. Hardwire one, remove the plug, and hardwire one, do something like that.
Is the socket kind of a figure 8 shape, or
it's perfectly two round pins.
How far apart?
And well, I can
about
half an inch apart, and
Okay.
I would really have to look at it again.
It sounds like the same connector that's used on the Japanese Nakajima type bars that are branded Olympia. And there is this is a really crazy thing, but if you go to Walgreens, there's a as seen on TV section of products in Walgreens sometimes. And one of the products is this LED light. It's a large LED light that hangs up. It has a charging cable, an AC cable. It's the same cable. So sometimes you could go to Amazon and you could find the type of cable. They still make those cables.
Yeah, some computers still take stuff like that, like computer or printers. So you could probably find a modern cable that works.
Yeah. So these are all good ideas. It's a large connector. It's more like let me think about something that I think my parents used to have electric grill for making sandwiches or whatever, and it's one of those big Bakelite connector type. So it's large. So Joe, if that matches that
probably one. As a technician, I used to work on televisions and a lot of high voltage stuff, and I got used to using what we call suicide cords. And the suicide cord was an AC cord with two bare ends, and you use alligator clip leads just to get things temporarily wired up and running, right? Just to test it. So if you're
I hear you.
Just to test it.
Yeah, I actually have a cord like that, but I was trying to see if I could find a connector. My dad was a TV technician, TV radio and sound system technician who started working in 1957.
Wow.
And worked for 40 some years, self-employed. He used to go from door to door to repair TVs. People could also drop their TV or their radios or sound systems at home. His workshop was in the basement of our house, and
it sounds like the better idea is just to rewire it with a modern connector, And the kind of connector that would really work good is probably one of those commercial kind you see on computer monitors and stuff.
That's what I'm
kind
thinking.
of a rectangular plug with rectangular, and it's 3 pins, three connectors, but something like that.
Very, very common. So I was actually thinking about that because I can find scrapped PCs or whatever that have those type of connectors and fudge something up and make an adapter out of it could be any type of plastic to fit the hole and so on and so forth. But anyway, so I haven't yet invested a lot of time into that $15 find. There were a couple of issues that I've solved up to now. I'll see how good it is, but I actually have a very, very good Smith Corona 2500, which works fantastically well. So this is more of an interest in fixing.
And you said this one uses the cartridge type ribbons?
Yes.
Yeah. They're cloth ribbons, but they plug in on one side with a cartridge kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
Those are, I don't know if you can find new old stock, but those are difficult, right? To even reload with modern ribbon is kind of hard to do. So
so they're on Amazon and they're on different places. Even they can be found. I don't know how fresh they are if they're nylon,
right?
But I found quite a number of carbon ones.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, carbon doesn't last very long.
Right.
But
as long
so
as
I use
the ribbon advances far enough each letter that you can use a carbon.
Yeah. It is made for carbon. It is made for either carbon or nylon.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm leaving.
Okay.
Oh, Marvin.
Thank you so much, Marvin.
I need to teach Sarah's my girlfriend's cousin because he's being such a dunce. And he just got the cane, for God's sake. So yes, he just got the cane, and I need to take over teaching him.
Okay.
Well, it was good chatting with you.
Yes.
Nice to see you.
Enjoy your teaching.
Bye.
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 So the side load cartridges with a nylon ribbon, it just advances it with a gear. With the carbon ones, it advances it with a captain and pinch wheel, same as it does with the cassette player or tape recorder, to meter it through exactly. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, it's no problem at all. It's got a little rubber at the end too to pull the ribbon, and so that works very well. Like I said, I have a 2500, a Chronomatic 2500, and those work very well. Yes, so the cartridge are a little bit of a problem finding. It's unfortunate, but none of these typewriters I paid very much for. So
that's good.
But the quality of the carbon is so nice. It's just like a carbon on this electric.
Yeah.
It types super clear. So
yeah.
So Daniel, I was going to show you that I have a Faber-Castell erasing pencil. Let me focus here if I can get my camera to focus. It is a Panasonic after all. Okay, Faber-Castell, and this is a model, whatever you can see there, 111058B. Anyways, so this one, the eraser feels very much like a normal eraser, like a pencil eraser. It's kind of very soft and rubbery, and it doesn't really do a good job on typewriter ink, unfortunately, unless you're using like the erasable paper, right? That some of the new old stock erasable paper. But yeah, this is more of just for erasing pencil, I guess. So they do make these new.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is new. All right, so it's fine. No, but the Dixon here says on it typewriter eraser, and I find this type. I'm gonna just bring it closer. Maybe you're gonna read better if I put it the right side up. No, actually, it's reversed. But anyway, it works pretty well. And I used just regular paper, white paper, although it's called typewriting paper, but it's not erasable.
Mhm.
And that's of the two, I think this one works well. And this Faber Singlex 1207, it says on it originals and carbons. So originals, maybe that's just the ink, and carbons too. So and yeah, I was surprised though. I was pleasantly surprised. So that's fun.
How rubbery is the tip on that one? This one is pretty soft. You can feel it's
this is hard.
Yeah,
this is
that's
very
what it
hard.
needs to be. It needs to be hard to be a good typewriter eraser.
Like the blue side of a pink, like the blue side of a pink and blue eraser.
Yes.
Exactly.
No,
more like that. That's true, William. So it's a good comparison. But both of them are quite hard. And at first I thought, having not used one of those before, that they were just too hard and it wasn't going to work. And trying it, very, very surprisingly, it works pretty well.
Yeah,
Although
they actually
it does make
remove
dust.
the top. It removes the top layer of the fibers of the paper. It's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Without making a hole.
Without making a hole, yeah.
Just be aware of eraser crumbs.
Yes, that's what I just said. It makes dust, so I did move the carriage to the side,
Yes,
and I use a little trick with a Scotch tape to make a little or a Post-it note so that the little rubber dust would actually fall and not touch any of the carriage.
Good. Yeah.
Because one of the typewriters I bought was a Smith Corner Classic 12, and it was being sold as parts repair because it had a random skip, which was quite frequent. When I got it home, took it to pieces, I found a razor crumb literally half an inch thick, all around and in the escapement.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot, because I've removed a lot of eraser crumbs in other typewriters, but I think you topped the story, William. Mine were like there was a lot, but they were small. But that's a lot of erasing.
Now, if I can steal the show for a minute here, I'm just going to turn my laptop, see if this works, and show you all something. It's a kite I built for my first wife. And yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh, ooh, I like that.
Cool.
That's beautiful.
That is lovely.
You can send it my way.
Very psychedelic.
Yeah.
Are those carbon fiber sticks?
I think he'll have to put his earbuds back in.
Yeah.
So, William, were those carbon fiber or fiberglass sticks?
Okay, the spine is carbon fiber. The two spar halves are fiberglass, and the sail is spinnaker ripstop.
Did you make that yourself?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
I used a wood burning tool with a fine tip to actually cut the material so the edges were heat sealed. Sewed it together on my wife's sewing machine. The spine is actually in two parts, so I can assemble it. Then two parts held together by a length of aluminum arrow shaft, which slides down over them.
Nice.
Wow.
And also have three sets of streamers, one to go on the tail and one to go onto each corner. The ones on each corner are about 10 feet long, and the ones on the tail are like 30 feet long.
Yeah.
So when it's up in the sky, there's long streamers flowing from it.
I love that.
Yeah. And those were my wife's favorite colors, purple and white.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now for your next kite, I want you to type on the material first and then assemble it. That could be done, right?
Yeah.
It depends on what material you use.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Because I know just my typewriter, Sarah Everett, she had an episode where she was talking about typing on I think material specifically. I think her experiment didn't go as well as she probably would have liked, but it looked like she had fun doing it though. Yeah.
One amusing material to type on is aluminum foil with a good backing sheet and no ink.
Yeah, yeah.
Set your typewriter to stencil.
Yeah.
Clean the slugs and then type, but you can't make a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually did that. I made a handmade card for my wife, and I just did just a little rectangle of the aluminum foil, and I guess I typed her name or something. I don't remember now. It was a couple years ago, but she said, "Did you type that?" And I was like, "Yes." Oh boy, it is fun to type on because you feel like you're like engraving it, even though it's just aluminum foil. But
embossing.
Yeah, embossing. There you go. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Karen, how are you doing? You are hard at work. And you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
There you go. Yes.
Oh, you can? My headset's working for a change. All right, cool. Yeah, this is that little 1950 Sterling that I got this summer. That has, it's got the, the mildew or the off-gas key tops, and it's filthy, the one that really smells that my wife wouldn't let me have in the house. And I just was the type bars were all just stuck solid. So I just was trying to free those up, and I got all of them freed up except the period wouldn't work. So I looked under to see. I wonder if I can show you guys on my phone the picture that I took of this, because honestly, I've never seen anything like this. Somebody, I think, tried to repair it. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Can you see it? So you know how the all right, I'll just explain it to you. You know how the on the Smith Coronas, the linkages pop off, right?
Yeah.
And then you pop them back on. So this one, the linkage that had popped off, I think one of the arms had broken off. So somebody soldered it back on. So that's a pivot point where they soldered it. And I don't know what they used, but it's very clumpy with solder, but it's also rusted and crumbling with however they did that. So basically I just need to find, so one of the things I did just now was post on the maintenance page and say, hey, anybody have another, because there's no saving it. But
my guess is that they use an acid flux. For
that's what I was thinking, right? And it just kind of dissolved the whole linkage.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take that out. I mean, it's probably done all the damage it's gonna do, but I'm gonna take it out so it doesn't impact the other ones. But I thought, oh man, now what? And I just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna keep cleaning all the rest of it so that I'll be ready to make it perfect when someday I get one of those. But so I'm doing my little, the headlight cleaner stuff on the plastic keys. I love that. It works. Although I have noticed it does kind of make them slippery for typing. So it's not the perfect solution, but it makes them nice and shiny visually and tactile. So, so things that are new in the world. Got my 2022 Frederick Durbin. I will put the link to these. These are really great. And this one, I think he was doing like mid-century ones. These are great. I've
Okay.
had these for a few years now, and he's selling them right direct through Lulu, where he's publishing them. So $15 American. So I always get some for, for presents for my typewriter people and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's exciting. And
Yeah.
what else? I'm always excited to get a new typewriter calendar, and I'm excited that we get to keep it in the kitchen, look at it all the time. So I have sort of a sad typewriter story, and I don't know how much I should share here, but
Oh.
it's a sad story. I guess partly why I don't want to share. I will just say up front, I don't need any. I welcome like smart ass remarks and stuff, but I don't really need any advice because I don't know. There's no real solution to this problem. This is a typewriter that I bought 6 months ago, and the person that was the seller was gonna swap it out because I wanted a certain typeface. And they were like, oh, well, I have that typeface on this QDL, and then I can just swap the bodies, easy peasy. And then it just got to be a more and more complicated thing. And it just, anyway, it kept being about to ship, and it didn't ship, and it's been 6 months. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Never mind. Just never mind. Even if it showed up, I wouldn't want it. I'm too fed up with this whole thing. And so then they were like, no, really. So they shipped it to me anyway. And the first thing that they did was that they refunded me my money, which wasn't exactly what I wanted to have happen. And then they shipped it to me, and I was excited to get it. And then, so after all of this, I was, and I get very emotionally invested in the typewriters, and I get very, I get associations. So this typewriter already had all this association with because it was going to be my birthday present for myself, and it was a big deal, and then it took so long, and anyway, all this stuff. And so by the time it got here, I was like, and they were insisting that they didn't want me to pay for it, which was ridiculous because they know they put a ton of time into it. So I finally was like, okay, just send it. If it actually does ever get here, they'll unpack it, and then I'm going to give you some money for it, and then you're not going to fight that. So they did finally send it, and it did arrive, and I started, it was perfectly packed, and I opened the box with, that had the outer wrappings and stuff, and the typewriters inside in the case, encased in more bubble wrap. And the box itself and the packing materials were so strongly scented with a synthetic scent that I got an asthma attack. And I couldn't even finish opening the typewriter. And so my wife put it in the garage, and then I texted the person and was like, what's going on? What's this scent? What did you use on it? Because especially if they use Febreze or something, then it's just a no, like I can't even deal with it. And they were like, oh, I pack dryer sheets in the case, like some special scented dryer sheets, because they worry about not being able to get the scent, the old typewriter or the musty smell out of the case. So now I had this sort of Schrodinger's typewriter problem that it's finally here, but I can't open it. I can't even let it air out in the garage because I have stuff I have to do in the garage, and I'm not willing to risk another asthma attack. I don't even have an inhaler right now. But there it is. And I know it has new rubber, and I know it's been completely torn down and rebuilt. And I know it's like the most pristine, perfect typewriter, and I can't open it. And I'm just really sad. And I'm really torn because there's no way that typewriter, I mean, the rubber will have absorbed that scent now. There's no way that it's ever going to be aired out enough. Even if I had a place to air it out, there's no way it's going to be aired out enough for me to use it, because that stuff lasts forever. So I just kind of needed to share that story. It's still sitting there. I don't quite know what to do. I kind of want to just send it back, but there it is. I at least want to see it. But if I open it, I don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
I mean, just from opening the outer part of it, I was having asthma issues, breathing issues for like 36 hours. So opening
Oh
the
my
inner
goodness.
wrapping where I know that there's something toxic hiding in the case is heartbreaking. So it's just like, anyway, that's my sad story because I was really hoping that I could share my cool new 6 months later birthday typewriter with you guys, and I can't.
Yeah.
Now,
Sorry to hear that. Really, it's really it's really sort of like a sad one. But I
Yeah.
really share your like the sensitivity to certain chemicals is really important. And I got
Yeah.
myself like like a mask for chemicals with cartridges. Sometimes I need to use that, but the problem that you have is that the typewriter is going to continue smelling for like that for a long time. Even if you were to wear a mask and gloves and then take out all that stuff and put it in the garbage and keep the typewriter and air it, I think it might still have that kind
That's
of
the
smell.
thing. That's my fear. And partly I don't want to unwrap it because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to have to turn around and send it back because I don't think it can be in the house. But I don't even have a place to air it out because I'm in Oregon and it's raining most days right now. Well, anyway, just thanks for listening. It's just a sad story, and I don't have a good answer. There's the Antique Typewriter Collector page on Facebook is about to hit 10,000 members, and I think we're going to do some kind of celebratory thing. And Aneurin Drury was suggesting doing a giveaway. So I'm sort of thinking about asking the seller how they would feel if I just let that fantastic typewriter be the giveaway for that celebration. It's the only thing I can think of doing with it. I guess I could just send it back to them. And they were, of course, completely upset and sad and brokenhearted about it turning out like this. And they were like, oh, I send those in typewriters, but I will never do that again. And I'm like, oh, that's nice, but it doesn't help me.
I guess my only thought is if you could find a local typewriter enthusiast that you could temporarily hand it off to, and they could at least let it air out.
Yeah.
Or even clean it.
Whereabouts in Oregon are you?
Eugene. James Cagle is
Okay,
actually like 15 miles from here. I could check with him. That's an interesting idea. I wonder if it would ever air out sufficiently.
I was thinking that what it really needs to do is to be in the bright sun, which you don't have in Western
Which we don't have.
Oregon.
I'll send it to you, Joe.
If it was in New Mexico, even in the winter, you set it outside on a sunny day for a couple of days, and that UV light will break down that odor pretty easily.
Yeah.
I've taken old typewriter cases that are stinky and just open them up and leave them in the sun, and it gets rid of a lot of that odor just from breaking it down. But,
yeah, I've done that too. But this chemical stuff, I mean, they create it to bond.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quite the same as like mildew and stuff. I mean, it's chemically created to not let go of stuff. But that's an idea.
It'd be salvageable. You just
Another
need
idea.
that doesn't
Go
have your
ahead, Kim.
sensitivity. Yeah, I think it can wear off. It is salvageable. You just need to put it in someone's hands who doesn't have that sensitivity, so that they won't have an allergic or asthmatic reaction. I don't think it's a throwaway. I think you can save it and bring it home eventually.
And think of it this way: the longer it's in there, all wrapped up, the more it will stick to it and bond. The sooner it gets out of
that's
there,
part of it too, right?
Yeah.
I'm freaking out about that too.
I know that the Type Space is in Portland, Oregon, as is Bill Guthrie.
Right.
Have a good afternoon.
Have a good afternoon.
Rehearsal. Yeah. Okay. I'll be home by 6. Sounds like a plan. Then I'll hang on.
Yeah, the thing about I can't drive it up to Portland because I can't have it in my car. But I could ship it.
The thing that I was thinking, and all these are great ideas, is that if somebody can take it and then they do a bit of a wash. I like Joe's idea, but in absence of a place in the sun, and I agree with him. It's not like the temperature that's important. It's the exposure to the UV. The UV. That, but short of that, probably like washing it might remove the scent.
What would I wash it with?
It's so I would use something like dish soap and water and dry it
Really?
carefully. But again, it's like this is an operation where you need to put some personal protective equipment on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't do it. Maybe I could find somebody else who could do that. Yeah.
So and some mask and everything. So or anyway, we're trying to just to help you save the so that you can keep it. Yeah, it's a difficult one.
William has a thought.
Yes, there is a new member on Typewriter Talk. He calls himself Fountain Pens Plus. He is in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh.
It may be worth logging onto Typewriter Talk, touch base with, I'll just call him FP Plus, Fountain Pens Plus, see if he will be willing to take the typewriter from you and do the unpacking and air it out for a while. Because he is another typewriter enthusiast. And if you are
and we don't know who he is, though.
I just know him as Fountain Pens Plus.
Okay. Is he on the Type House site? Is he a member?
No. No. If you go onto Typewriter Talk, it's a board host.
Oh, okay. I don't know what Typewriter Talk is. I thought you meant it was a.
Okay.
I thought that was a Saturday night thing.
Just do a quick Google search on Typewriter Talk, and it'll come up as board host. I've been a member on that since 2013.
Forum.
First, yes, forum.
Old-fashioned forum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Predating Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing posts from 2015 and 2013 on there. This is an active thing?
Okay, just go on.
Active.
Yeah. Do I actually have the address?
It's okay. I mean, I found Typewriter Talk. I found it, but I'm just seeing posts
It's
I'm
not
seeing.
extremely active, but there are still people that converse on there occasionally.
Okay, cool. Thank you, William. I'll look for that.
Yeah. As
Fountain Pen Plus. Okay, thank you.
How recently did you receive the typewriter care?
A couple days ago.
Yeah. So
Hi,
the first the first thought going through my mind is just that you probably need the element of time on your side to. If I were in your shoes, I'd be pretty emotional right now. Everything that you talked about when you told your story, I could relate to. You know how you get this build up and excitement, and then you have all the up and downs that happened, and it'd be like just forget it, and then by the time you finally open yourself back up and it gets there, and that happens, you probably just need a bit of time to emotionally calm down some before you can really start to work towards a solution. You know that you'll like if you were to just get rid of it quickly in a week, you might be thinking, God, I wish I'd found a way to, so aside from all the technical solutions that could come into play, just, take mental care to give yourself a chance with it,
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. I am having that feeling like Sean was saying, but it's sitting out there. The longer it sits with that stuff in it, the more it absorbs. But I really appreciate that because I'm just feeling sort of panicked about it.
I will touch base with FB Plus this afternoon and let him know that you might be touching base with him.
Thank you, William.
I'll ask him if he will be willing to take the typewriter off your hands for a while, open it up, let it air out.
Thank you.
As typewriter enthusiasts, we all like to try and help each other.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want it. Sorry.
I think I was saying I didn't want suggestions because people are saying things like, well, have your wife open it and air it in the garage, and and it was like it can't really even be in my house, and if she touches it, then I can't touch. So, yeah. But these are all great suggestions, and this feels more useful.
I will private message him this afternoon and see what he says.
Thank you.
Very good. Now,
Thanks, William.
before we get too deep or too late in our session here, I do see a new face. So I want to welcome Rich as a new member. How are you, Rich?
I'm great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked that because I've never used Zoom. We use MS Teams at work, so this is the first time for both of this this new group too. I watched a couple of your videos and it really enchanted me. So I thought I'd join the crowd and see what's going on.
Excellent.
So things are going well, and I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Very good. So since you are new, did you want to just give us just a very brief introduction to yourself?
Well, I'm getting ready to retire from the Army. I've been working with the Army for about, over 40 years. And been collecting typewriters. I think probably 2018 was when I got my first one when I was in Germany. And I got a number of German typewriters while I caught the bug over there. And came back about 2 years ago, been back in Florida for 2 years. And I've managed to pick up a few of the non-German ones, which I like better. The QWERTYs are a lot easier. And I tell you, it was very, very hard for me to get used to the Q words, because even though my brain knew where the Z and the Y were, my fingers automatically went to, where decades and decades of training went. And so I still have them. I still use them. At this point, I am bilingual with the typewriter. I can use either one without a problem.
Nice.
And so the latest one I got came in, I think about 2 days ago. It was a Tower Commander, a sand colored one. And I specifically got that one because I drive a Jeep Commander and I thought that it really needed a partner. So
there you go.
There you go.
Came in and it works great. I had to clean it a little bit. I think it's a little mushy. I mean, it's not a fast typer. I don't know if those typically are, but I think maybe just I put some alcohol in it yesterday and it sped it up a bit, but I think it'll probably stick up again unless I put some mineral spirits or something in it. So otherwise, I've already typed. I typed the prompt you had. I typed that on that, so it's working pretty good. And so that's where I am on the journey. I'm around probably about 35 typewriters in right now, and I kind of every time, probably like all you have been talking. That's it, no more. Oh, wait, look there, And so that's kind of how it grows. And at some point, I got to figure out where I'm going to cull the herd and what goes first, that kind of stuff. Same dilemmas.
Yep.
Good, a dilemma that's good.
Yeah, and of course we're known for being enablers here, so
well, that's good.
Very dangerous.
At least I'll have a place to go.
Yes. So what do you most often like to use your typewriters for?
I journal. Almost daily, and that's how I started when I got the typewriter. Is I was doing a daily journal, and then I started one. It was I think I called it Journal 58, because what I did was I took a normal sheets of paper and folded them in half, cut them, and then I would type a daily journal on that, 5x8 sheet of paper. So I called it. It was the same as my age at that time, so it was Journal 58. I did it every day. I've got a stack for a year. Then I've probably done that for about 3 years. Not daily, but at least a few times a week. And so it's interesting to go back and see that. I do lots of typing on cards, 3x5 cards and 4x6 cards now, because that's the size of my journal that I made. So I'm using that a lot. It's kind of strange. I do work on my typewriter by typing notes and stuff, and I have little flashcards I make with I use a typewriter for them. I used to use a computer, but I'm liking this a lot better. I can make them really quick, and even little tiny spreadsheets for budget stuff. I can do that and stick in my little cheat sheet folder. So I find them useful, and it's. But I've been, I grew up with typewriters way before computers, so
very good.
Comfortable, yeah.
Any letter writing?
Letter writing? I've sent some letters to my brothers and my mom. And so they don't type. But I send it off anyway. They probably just think I'm weird. Well, this wouldn't have started that.
Yeah. Well, if you want to write to someone that doesn't think that you're weird, feel free to join typepals.com. It's completely free, and it's a database of us, basically. So
I did join that. So just
excellent.
Dipping my feet into the water and see how this all works
Very
out.
good. Very good. Excellent.
I see we have 112 members as of this morning.
Yeah, I think just over the last few days we got quite a few. I'm not sure what spurred that on, but I'm not complaining. Yeah, that's great. So, but again, welcome, Rich. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And let's see, Mr. Teft, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm working on my newly restored microscope.
Ooh. Wow.
I look forward to seeing it, Bill.
That's what they call small picture thinking.
Indeed.
Or looking.
Excellent. And anything else new going on for you?
Well, you know, the weather here in Albuquerque am I pointing down to Joe?
No, you're pointing to me.
I don't know where anybody. Okay, well, Joe is down there for me.
Okay.
The weather here in Albuquerque is just fantastic. You're all invited.
Oh, nice. We'll be right over.
And
I want everybody to point to Joe. Where do you think Joe is?
Well, in my
He's there for me.
display, I'm what is it? Top row, second from the left. But
You're second row, second from the left in mine.
There you go.
Me too.
this is like Where's Waldo, but it's
I
a
know.
little bit different.
This is like Hollywood
Where's
Squares,
Joe?
but we can't see each other.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's funny.
So if anybody has a stinky typewriter and you need it to be aired out, bring it to Albuquerque and we'll set it in my courtyard in the
There you go.
sun, and then we can have a type out there too.
Keep your eye out for FedEx, Joe. I might be sending you something.
Typewriter spa.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That typewriter needs to as soon as possible. The typewriter needs to be pulled out of its box and all the packaging pulled away from it and thrown away or burned or whatever, and then take the typewriter.
Yeah, let's release it into the atmosphere for everybody.
Is it a portable? Does it have a case?
Yes, it's a portable. It has a case. It's a QDL.
So
I love QDLs.
When I inherited my car, it just positively reeked of cigarette smoke, and I'm fairly sensitive to it, and so is Shannon, my partner. And so we took it over to an auto detailer, of course, obviously a car, but they have an ozone generator, which sounded a lot like black magic to me, but it really worked, and that and just time got rid of any trace of tobacco, cigarette smoke. So anyway, pass that along.
That's very interesting.
Ozone generator. That's brilliant.
And
thank you.
You know, any good auto detailer, body shop, whatever, should be able to do that for you. It might not be free, but it does work, and it sometimes, at least with the problem I had, it took 3 treatments to finally kind of get it, and then it just had to be aired out. You'd drive around with the windows open for a while, but it all went away.
Well, a friend of mine had ozone treatment at her house. They bought a house that had been smoked in a ton, and that's what they did. And they did it like in the ductwork and stuff. So that's, I don't know if it works the same on chemical smells as tobacco, but that's a great lead. Thank you so much, Phil.
What
Yeah.
kind of kind of typewriter is it?
It's a 1957, 4, 5 something Royal Qdl green with Canterbury typeface.
Oh.
You can't give that away. You have to try this
And
solution
and the
first.
pop up, the push button ribbon cover. I know it's my dream.
Does it have
typewriter.
does it have a felt inside?
It has all new. It has yeah. She put felt in it. Put new felt in it.
Yeah.
It's been completely. I mean, the irony is, it's been completely torn apart and chemically cleaned and reconditioned. And
Well, there's nothing on that machine that it can't be made better, or it can't be made right. So
Yeah.
Please don't throw it away.
I wasn't going to throw it away. I was going to find
Well,
some
I mean, yeah,
non-sensitive person.
Don't send it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stick it in a corner somewhere, forget about it for a week, and then
Or
like,
I can
like
trade you
Bill-
one of mine. Karen,
like
so
Bill
you
said, just kind of
Wait, who said they're going to trade?
come back to it later. Yeah. I know how it feels.
Thank you. Ozone treatment. Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
All right. And Curry, how are you doing?
Hello there. Yes, no, I'm good. I've been got one letter cranked off here, and was about to start on another one. So yeah, I was telling you, Gregory, that I sort of often go on the Type Pals site, and whoever shows up as the featured members, that's who gets a letter. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing today, and yeah, I haven't had a lot of time to do writing, but did write one to Kimberly. And got one back in the mail with lots of stamps all over it. So thank you very
Nice.
much for that. And so yeah, it's slowed down a little bit, but it's down but not out. So
Yeah.
going back to work and stuff, it's been a little
Yeah.
bit more difficult to find the time, but that's okay. Did manage to find an Olympia SM8 last weekend at one of our outdoor antique markets. So some of you will know where Aberfoyle Antique Market is. The Canadians, especially the Ontario folks. But yeah, last Sunday was their last day, and so managed to find this one. And it's in is it modern pica typeface, which is great because I don't normally find like sort of unique typefaces and stuff like that. So it's nothing amazing, but it's different. So, and it's also got a sticker on the front. So this was actually sold by an office equipment place that's about 2 blocks from my house. At this
Oh,
point.
nice.
And
Cool.
was until a couple of years ago, and then they finally shut down. But so from this thing being sold in 1970 to coming around almost full circle to where it started from 51 years later, it's kind of cool. So
Could we take a quick look at the back of that machine?
At the back of it, yeah.
Back.
Hang
It's an
on.
SM9.
It,
The
it
9?
doesn't have tabs, it's an 8.
Is
Yeah,
it this?
it's an SM9. And the SM8
Oh, okay.
has a tabulator bar across the back. I thought that when I saw the lever on the front left corner of the keyboard with a plus and minus sign, that's your tab set. Yep, right there.
Okay, that one
Yep.
there. All right.
There's-
Well,
there's
that's
a 9.
that's great. Good to know.
It's
Yeah.
an SM9.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Yeah.
But a very, very good typer. I have one of those with the wide carriage.
Yes, and I noticed, Sean, that you're working on something similar.
I thought you had
Moment.
a 7 at first because it has the same 7 side, but I've got a 7, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
7
okay.
is
Yeah.
straight side.
And you see, I've got my this month's Type Pals is sponsored by Willow Creek Typewriters.
There you go.
Some familiar stickers.
And it really is.
I pay attention.
I did notice that. Although I was distracted by your hat quite a bit. But.
Oh,
We're all
Oh, look at that.
distracted by the hat.
No, put the hat. Put it back on.
I got it.
Oh, Rich.
Here's something non-typewriter related that I can share as well. Oh, look at that.
Oh
They're
yeah.
another Olympia. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Yes.
That one was Q Works. That's a German typewriter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Olympia's the Volkswagens, eh?
Yeah.
Yes. It types very well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Good. Good.
All right. And anything else new with you, Curry?
Yeah, I'm just gonna flip my cameras around here because I've also got something else here. It's not typewriter related, but some of you might be familiar with these.
Ah, it's practically a typewriter.
It is. It's a facet.
Oh,
so I have
cool.
a
cool.
facet TP2, but it's a facet hand crank calculators there. From,
Nice.
I think 1957. I want to say something around that era. Picked it up for $15 from a lady who she said she worked at we've got a lot of insurance companies here in Waterloo region where I am. For many, many years there's been insurance companies, and I guess she went in to start a new job at one of the insurance companies when she was like 18, and they sat her down at the desk and said, "Here's your calculator," and she's like, "Really?" I think she used it for she had to use it for about a year until they actually came out with like proper like electronic ones or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's lots of fun trying to figure this out. So you've got the different registers and things like that, and so the levers to clear the registers. And this one's nice because you can actually just punch the number in that you want, and it shows up in the down here. And
Got the
you
cool
can
little
do,
facet badge on top.
Oh,
we lost your camera.
There's my camera's gone. Anyway, so but yeah, that's lots of fun trying to figure out all that and add addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and square roots and all kinds of stuff. You'd never think you could do all that on something simple as that, but yeah. So that's lots of fun to have and play around with. So yeah.
So
I've never seen anything like that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with it with the crank on the side. But like, what? That's amazing. I love it. I've never seen anything like it.
Does that one do a print off as well, or is it just purely register on the Windows?
No, yeah, it doesn't do any printing. No, it
Okay.
doesn't use paper tape or anything. It's just strictly I guess a gear and pin, I think is what they call them. Or yes, I'm maybe not quite getting it quite right there, but yeah, you sort of set the wheels, and then you turn the crank forward to add, backward to subtract, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's cool.
Well,
I
definitely.
am happy to say that I got my Underwood 3 working well, and that means that I'm not like going bonkers for one thing or another sticking on it yesterday. The same cannot quite be said for my Smith Premier 5. I got the majority of the keys loose, and the type bars will move, although sometimes I have to push them back down because I haven't really, finished with the clean, because I have a type bar that is bent. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to sort that out. And of course, it's one, that's regularly used, capital F. And it literally tangles up with the lowercase r, because the capital F in the way the basket goes, there's a kind of an inner and an outer ring. And of course, the lowercase f is behind. Yeah, this is hard to describe. I'm trying to do the whole finger thing. Anyway, the lowercase f is behind it. And so you do the F, and both the F and the R come up. So I haven't quite figured out what to do with that yet. Yesterday it's been so nice this weekend. It's like, it's kind of like late summer again here, which is great. So I actually had the pancake air compressor going, and had the chemicals out in the garage, and so I was trying to do some typewriter maintenance before it goes and gets too cold to do it.
Yeah.
Quick hi to Mike before he has to leave.
Yes. Bye to Mike and Sequamish, and I believe also Daniel's leaving as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So
good to see
thank you
you,
so
Daniel.
much for
Take
being.
care, Mike.
Yeah.
Well,
let's-
Greg,
Yes.
Greg, would anyone like to see my new typewriter?
Oh yes, of
Go on.
course.
Oh.
Well, I got this at a local.
Nice. You have to hold it
Let
this
me-
way, or
Yeah, your Zoom background.
yeah.
But there we go.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it had harsh content or something, and it was being, straight out there.
Adult typewriter.
The adult toy typewriter.
Adult typewriter. Yeah, that's funny.
And it.
Yeah.
Let me turn that off. Excuse me.
There we go.
That's better. All right, so it works. It works beautifully. Of course, the buttons are a little sticky. But it's a real printing machine.
Wow.
Label maker. Yeah.
And it works.
Cool.
That's so cool.
So where's the ribbon or the ink pad? How does that work?
It uses
I do a roll, I think.
it uses a roller. It rolls over the.
Okay.
It rolls over the.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Ink pad.
Neat.
Cool.
Wow.
See the roller?
Ink roller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can get that up and running in no time. Perfect.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, we just found our publisher for the Type Pals newsletter.
There you go.
It'll be a very slow process.
All right, there we go.
One episode a year, one issue a year. That's cool,
cool.
Bill.
Yeah, very cool.
Very cool. Those are neat.
Yeah. Let's see.
So
And
here's the Underwood 3 looking nice. So
Oh, beautiful.
Oh yeah, sure does.
oh yeah. Wow.
Typewriter.
I tried to video. Yes, I tried to video me trying to clean, trying to do the basic clean of the Smith Premier 5, and that's called dusting and trying to get all the dust and the dirt out of it. I mean, yeah, I can blow it out, but I can't really do any. I can't do a video with that air compressor going.
Oh
so,
yeah. Yeah.
and it actually loosened up most of the dirt anyway, so it made the outside clean better. Because yeah, there's just yeah, you can only do so much with 120-year-old dirt.
It might be worth something. I don't know.
Antique dirt.
No. What? What, Joe?
Antique dirt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. And May, how are you doing?
I'm good. I took apart my Cursive Electra typewriter because it needed some TLC, and also a screw had worked its way loose that holds up the type bars. I'm not sure what this little thingy is called right here, but the screw came out and it was rattling around and the typewriter wouldn't work. So I found it. Luckily it was inside the typewriter, but once I opened it up, I saw that I missed a few spots in cleaning. So it's always best to fully take a typewriter's body off and really get down into every little nook and cranny. So that's what I'm doing. You guys were talking about cursive earlier in the conversation.
Yes.
It got me thinking about, oh yeah, this typewriter went kaput the other day. I need to fix it. I think I did. So,
Very good. Very good.
yeah. It's like one of Dwayne Jensen's favorite machines, the Electras.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And let's see here. Bill, how are you doing?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
How are you doing, Bill? Bill Guthrie.
I'm good.
Yeah, we do have more than one.
Yes.
I'm doing okay. How are you, Gregory?
I am good. Yeah. Yeah. I briefly saw that you and Mike Durling were having a chat last night in Type and Talk.
Yeah, I checked in just to see if perhaps Ted was going to join, or I did watch last week's Type Pals retroactively and noted that Ted had commented that he was getting ready. His wife was going into surgery, and so I was just curious if he might have joined to find out how things were going.
Yeah,
so I was just thinking about him.
as well.
Well, you guys must not have stayed on very long, because I joined in about 11 o'clock my time. So I guess that would be 9 o'clock Pacific time, and nobody was there. I guess you only stayed on for just a little while.
Well, that I'm trying to remember. Mike might remember. We probably left just a little before you joined, I'm guessing, because it was almost 11 o'clock his time, I thought he said. Anyway,
So-
sorry to have missed you.
Yeah.
So
I
is Type and
stayed
Talk a
on
weekly
though.
event then? Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
Saturday nights. So I just stayed on and acted like Gregory was sitting there listening and talked to him and worked
I'll
on my
have to go back and watch
typewriter. I got a lot of typing done though, so
Well,
I
that's
typed on a lot of my. I
nice.
typed on all my black typewriters because I had pulled them out for Halloween and I still haven't put them back yet. So
Oh, cool.
type tests on all my black glossy glass key typewriters. So that was fun, and just talk to myself or my imaginary friend. I talked to my imaginary
go.
friend during the video.
Oh.
From now on, I'm envisioning my imaginary friend being named Gregory, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I guess last night, yeah, you were
Yeah.
my imaginary friend, Greg.
Excellent.
Funny.
I'm leaving for the second time.
Oh.
Oh yes, yes. Welcome back.
So is Type and Talk a weekly event then?
Yes. So now with this one, I made the mistake. I put it on the, it's scheduled. So if you go to the events page on typepals.com, it's listed. With the first one, I sent out a mass email just to Typepals members. This one I did not do that. So that was definitely my mistake. And yeah, I'll have to do that in the future because it clearly made a difference. So
Is it the same login? Is it the same login as the original, the first meeting?
It is different from that one.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the same from now on because that first one was just kind of a test.
Okay.
So now that I'm sure I'm going to do it, it should stay the same. So unless we run into an issue with someone, but I don't think we will. So
like weirdos joining in.
Exactly. But you never know.
Well,
I guess I'm out
happens-
then.
Oh.
So what happens, Gregory, if you're not there as the host and some weirdo does join in? Do we have the power to kick them out? Or how would that work if you're not there to to monitor the chat and somebody does get weird?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. There isn't anything to do.
I guess just enjoy it and laugh.
Or I mean, you could log off yourself, but
True.
I mean, you shouldn't have to do that. But again, this like worst case scenario, and I don't really see it happening. But I do have measures in place to be able to take action if someone does something.
And that's why you said you record the chat, not to broadcast it, but just for security.
Yeah. And it's definitely not on YouTube because that would be an invitation to get people in there. So bad people in there.
Also, it's midnight my time, so I don't want to be like YouTube public fresh at midnight. Like I'll look the same as I look now, t-shirt, but it'll be like a loungewear t-shirt. It won't be the fancy one with little cats.
That's funny.
I guess I spent yesterday evening typing a letter to Bill Guthrie.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
nice.
So just on page 3 now. So a couple more pages and I'll get it up in the mail.
Well, when I reply back, I will include a type space sticker.
Ooh,
Cool. Yes.
Just gonna write you now,
picked
Bill.
up a bunch of these. So when I everybody sending me things, and I didn't have anything to send, so I picked up a bunch of these type space stickers, which actually I wrote back to Sean and forgot to include one to him. So I'll send one off separately or something. But it's new to me to have something to send in my letters, and so I haven't quite got into the groove yet of remembering automatically every time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And that's a really cool sticker too.
Yeah. It's the same design that they have up on the back of their shop wall.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, they're nice. Most typewriter people will probably like them.
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed that Typewriter Space is no longer on the member directory. Does the membership lapse or?
I think he renewed it.
Wasn't there yesterday evening?
Is it in under typewriter type space, or is it in under
it's under his name.
Tony's name?
Anthony Volpi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm probably slaughtering his name too.
I did a search for Anthony as well, couldn't find it.
Antony.
Yep. No
Yeah.
matches last night, so.
Huh. Yeah, because I saw him on there the last time I looked, but.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on there. So I'll double check after this, but I just don't want to take the time to do it right now. Let's see here. Ooh,
I put the link for if you want to order a typewriter calendar from Frederick Durbin, I put the link in the chat just now.
Yeah. So again, that was on lulu.com. So you could also probably go to lulu.com.
It is there. Okay.
Typewriter calendar.
Anthony. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you found him, William?
Yep.
Okay, good. Good.
On page 3, just above Joe Van Cleve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
good.
Of course, he would be just above me.
Oh.
Alphabetical.
Now, we also have Eric Tidd with us. How are you doing, Eric?
Guys, I'm doing great.
Enjoying the weather?
Beautiful day in Atlanta. Great for airing out typewriters.
Yeah. Very good. Now something looks different about you. I'm trying to place it.
Yeah, I did a reverse Movember. I shaved my mustache.
There you go.
I had it for 2 years. I had it when I got this Voss, and then 2 years ago, and then I shaved it off.
Very good.
But nobody noticed for like 2 days, so I felt a little.
We noticed,
and I wasn't wearing a mask. So you guys are wonderful. You guys are great.
Oh, that's funny. Anything new in your world?
Nothing new. I'm still on restriction because I bought too much too fast. But so I drug out the old stuff. I drug out. This is my not my favorite typewriter, but the most beautiful one I have. It's a Voss. It's italic. It's the wine color, but it's got the wine color keys. And that's the one thing that kind of sets it apart from others that I've seen. That Voss has so many different color combinations, but this one has the same color keys. So it's yeah. I mean, it's just built so well, and it's just beautiful. And the italic typeface is kind of neat.
Nice.
Came with these came with some pamphlets, and one's even got a little poem about the Voss's boss. By a Voss, it is the boss. A lot of misspellings on there, and it's from Michigan, but they spell it Michigoo. So I don't know what happened in their editing, but
that's funny.
But yeah, so I'm slowly doing what you recommended, Gregory, and adding on one type page using each typewriter.
Good, good.
To give them some use. Problem is they're in the closet, and every time I look and think, oh, I gotta go get one out. So it's been a slow process, but I'm getting there. So this one's out, so this one will get something typed up.
Excellent, excellent. Very good.
Oh, and we're having an event down here. I know.
Oh.
I don't think anybody's close to Atlanta, but we're having an event next weekend. A type out, a type in. I like the Natasha calls the type out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be outside at a park. Hopefully, we'll have this weather, and it won't be like it sometimes is. But yeah, Herman comes occasionally. I don't think he's coming this time, but we always get blessed with a Herman about once a year, so that's always really cool. But I'm gonna bring a bunch of Olivetti's, and just a couple of the weird stuff so hopefully just people, not typewriter people, might stop by and then get really interested, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, excellent. You'll have to let us know how it goes.
Definitely will, for sure.
Good.
Take some pictures too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have to go, guys. So
okay. Well, thank you so much, Diane.
Bye, Diane.
Maybe next week I'll have something new to show you.
Bye, Diane.
Diane, I hope your next letter isn't as exciting as your last one. She wrote me during in the middle of a tornado.
Oh my goodness.
We had a plane crash down the street this week.
Man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Small
Power
plane?
went out and a little Cessna. But the guy landed on a very busy road upside down and walked away. Didn't hit anything.
Wow.
So it's every time a plane goes by, I'm getting a little freaked out. But
yeah,
I guess.
He didn't hit anything except the power lines.
he hit the power lines. That's right, and it slowed him down.
Wow.
And knocked ours out, but that's all right. Got a half a day off work.
Yeah.
No internet. Can't work.
Exactly. Wow, that's crazy. And Natasha, are you excited for your interview?
Hey, Natasha.
Hey, how everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah, I am. That's what I've been getting ready for all day. I'm sorry that I came in so late because my plan was to be in here at least by noon, and I ended up around 1. So I'm sorry about that. As you can see, I got a new setup somewhat for this. So it's at 4:30 on the Goslings. I'm using another camera. I'm looking at it up close now. I don't like this camera, so I might switch it out for the Mac. This is my HP that I'm on now, and I don't like that. But anyway, yes. So I'm very excited to be on there. It was a shock when they asked me to interview. So I'm just amazed, and I'm so thankful to all of you in the typewriter community because y'all have been the most, supportive of any group I've been a part of. I mean, of course, I've done fashion, and I'm a photographer. And
we love you, Natasha.
I love you guys. Love you too. Thank you. Love all y'all. But y'all have been the most supportive group ever. I mean, because the photography community is real competitive and cliquish. You know what I mean? So it's tough to be a part of that, unless you're with your own little group, which I am. We're fortunate. But and then the fashion group is, it's then it's rough, doing all that work and little pay or no pay at all, especially if you do big gowns like I do. So everybody wants to wear the stuff or buy it, but they want to buy it for like $100. I'm like, no. I mean, the fabric alone is $100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no way you can, do that. But I really appreciate being a part of y'all's, the community, the typewriter community.
Oh.
And I do have a new typewriter, old typewriter. I don't know if you can see it, but it's my Royal Qdl. Some of y'all have seen it already on Instagram. I don't know if you can see it too well on this because this camera sucks. But it came with the key. And it came with the book, of course.
Wow.
And of course, the original case from Facebook Marketplace. And it already worked. All I had to do was just do some cleaning.
Natasha, do you know that's a portable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know why. Why you say that?
Because you're a standard typewriter collector. So a portable was like, wow, it must have been a great deal.
Yeah, yeah. I got like a bunch of portables. Y'all just don't see them. I mean, they're all over the floor.
I'm just making fun of you, but yeah.
I got a ton of them. I mean, shoot. I mean, one day I just have to whip them out. I have to put them on the typewriter database because I haven't done that yet. So that's another reason why people haven't seen them. I got a ton of them. I mean, Paul's actually putting me on restriction now. I'm on restriction. And he actually chimed in last Saturday. I don't know if anybody.
He wanted an
chimed in
already
behind the
Valentine.
scenes last Saturday at night. You know, that night session we had.
Yeah.
He chimed in, but he got into politics. I'm like, oh, okay, he was that weirdo we were just talking about. I was like, but I mean, they were talking with him and everything. Everything was cool, but he was off scene, you know. So
we're all friends. It's you can talk about real things when you're friends because like it doesn't get weird, you know.
Yeah, and you were part of that. I can't see you right now. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was just I was like, okay, Paul, get down. We need to get back to typewriters. I think Mr. William had to whip us back in shape. We went all off. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, let's get back. Somebody save us. But yeah, so I'm getting ready for that right now. Oh, the star of the show, you know, of course, is this one.
Secretary 88.
Yeah, it's Mr. Rona, we call him. Because he's my sticker man, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a Movember mustache on. That must have been where Eric put his mustache.
He does, yeah. He's like my favorite, you know. He types well. It's just I don't bother changing the paint because when I did try to scrub it and clean it, the paint started flicking off everywhere. So I said, you know, forget it. I'm just gonna leave you like you are and make you a sticker machine, and that's how it happened.
I like seeing the Type Pals logo sticker there.
Definitely, yeah. Finally found a place to put that. Yeah. Okay, I put the other one on my laptop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's it for me, and I just hope you guys can tune in later. I see I have some more setting up to do because I don't like this camera. It's so cheap. I don't like it. So I'm gonna use my MacBook.
So that's
the resolution.
So that's the Goslings on YouTube, correct?
Yes, the Goslings. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. The Goslings on YouTube at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay.
They're going to ask me about self-publishing. I mean, from what they were saying, publishing. Also questions about why Roger Moore is my male muse. Yeah. And then what else? About my book that's out. So they got some questions ready for me that are really good. Excellent. So I'm about to get to work preparing my answers here in a little bit.
Very good.
Are you going to type them out?
Say that again.
Are you going to type them out?
No. Look, I'm so I've got to get back to typing because lately I've been doing a lot of photography again. And yesterday it took up like 6 hours just doing editing. So I'm like, I didn't even get to do my NaNoWriMo yesterday. So yeah, I have to hurry up and do this and that, you know.
Well, you have plenty of things going on, so
yeah, and I have the type out going on too. That's on the 20th.
Yeah.
That's at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's when I reached out to the library, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And they've got the signs posted in their library and everything, and
that's exciting.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what typewriters to put out there. I'm not gonna put all of them, you know, because some of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I can't wait, really. Yeah.
Yeah, you have lots of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah.
It'll be my first type in or type out.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not too cold. Yeah, I hope it's not too cold.
Is it inside or outside?
Yeah. Because they wouldn't do it.
Outside.
Oh, it's outside. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That's why I call it that type out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was inside, but they're trying to do it safe, you know. Before it's too cold outside. So
yeah.
Y'all can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The picture quality isn't the best, and occasionally it lagged a little bit. So definitely change cameras.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Oh,
yeah.
I was like, oh no, I'm glad I stepped in because
Yeah.
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 Very good.
I'm
And
trying to think of anything else. There's nothing else really.
okay. Well, I mean, that's plenty.
Yeah. I know, right?
Very good. And Mike Gerling, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. A lot going on here, so I've been kind of in and out today. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. I don't know if Bill told you, but he and I got on the unmoderated chat last night for a little while.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody else got on there later.
Later, I did all of them.
Yeah. Well, it's I'm on the East
So you're
Coast.
all
So,
by yourself.
yeah, I was all
I'll
by
jump.
myself for a little while till Bill got on, but we had a nice chat.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I was
Very
saying
nice
earlier
chat.
that I made the mistake of not sending out a mass email about it. So this time I'm going to be sure and send out a mass email. It was on the the events page, but that's probably not enough. So
Yeah. I haven't looked at it because I forgot about it last week.
Yeah. So
But, yeah, this is my only new one, which is I saw Natasha got a new to her QDL, and I got a little older one, but this is a 47.
okay.
So
How do you like it, Mike?
I like it. I mean, it's I got it like 2 days ago, and then I got it home. And when it's like, I mean, it was on Facebook Marketplace, and they kept dropping the price. And so I finally got down to $20. I figured, okay, I better go get it.
Right.
And it's it's in pretty good shape. It's got it needs some more cleaning, but I got it home and the backspace didn't work.
Ooh.
And so, but and I got one of
That's
those.
often the case with those.
Yeah, and I got one of those manuals.
It's usually a spring.
This was just I had to reform one of the little guides or whatever that.
Those little escapement tabs.
Yeah, that's a mess. It's still sort of a little noisy when it goes back, but I'm not sure if that's any problem or not. A little noisier than my 54, but anyway, I got that fixed, and it seems to type pretty well. Got some new ribbons in, so I put a ribbon in it, and it it works pretty well. It still needs some cleanup on the exterior, but I mean it's I like it. It's got a different look than the later ones. So
Yeah.
that's nice to have a variety there, I guess.
Exactly.
It's one of the few typewriters that, even though it's all black, to me it looks really pretty. Like I usually think, oh, that's boring. I'm not a business writer. I don't need a business serious machine, but that is really pretty.
I like it. I mean, and I stuck this sort of, I don't know if you can see it, but this Pennsylvania Railroad letterhead in it.
Yeah,
it just seems to work.
That's my favorite style of Royal. I love those.
Yeah. I mean, this is, well, I think I've got 4 Royal typewriters, but this is the second QDL I've gotten, and I like them. They're not as fancy as some of the others, but they're good workhorse machines. And I found that, I was thinking my other one was defective because I kept, crowding some of the keys, but then I found out to do that with all my typewriters. So it's the part that's in front of the keyboard that's the problem. So
yeah, I have that. I'm still like that. It's my technique now. My finger strength is improving, but it's still the technique. Like some machines are more sensitive and you really have to have perfect staccato, and other ones are a little more forgiving. So
yeah, and I haven't typed it long enough. I don't change, but it's always like the A that does it. So I don't know why, because that's of course the weakest finger, but for some reason that one always just hits before the carriage is done moving.
Too. That's always crooked on almost all my typewriters is the A.
Yeah. And it's not just the Royals. I mean, it's the Olympia I have does the same thing. So it's got to be it's got to be the thing that pushes the keys.
Yeah. Yes. I know
Anyway.
Joe is always talking about issues with the A because of the pinky. Yeah.
I think it's the finger. I think it's the thing pushing the key. You're right.
I had a question that I was going to ask. I don't know whether Joe would know the answer to anybody, but I don't know if anybody does traditional darkroom work, but Ilford's got a postcard paper for making prints. It's 4x6 paper, and it's supposed to be good for postcards, but I don't know whether it's the right thickness. It's probably too thick for a typewriter, but I don't know if anybody's tried that or not.
I have some older Ilford paper, and it's thicker than. It's not as thick as the double weight gallery type fiber-based paper. It's a little thinner, so it's. I think it's RC paper, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. It is.
It would probably roll through a medium-sized typewriter. Okay, I don't think you want to necessarily try it in a, Hermes rocket or something like that, but
Right,
it might. We've taken 4x6 prints, like photo prints from the mini labs, and those are usually thin enough you can roll those through a small typewriter. And put a sticker on the back or a label to type on or whatever. But as long as it's not fiber-based photo paper, it's probably okay to roll.
Yeah, that stuff's a little thick, unless you can find this very, very hard to find single weight paper anymore.
Yeah, no, you can't get single weight paper. No.
Yeah, last stuff I got was like Russian, but that was like 10 years ago. So
yeah. Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And let us know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had the enlargers out for a couple of years, so we'll see.
Oh, okay. Very good. Now, I know Rich mentioned that he has done the typing prompt, which of course is writing a letter to your imaginary friend. I would prefer not to make Rich go first since he's new, but does anyone have a typing prompt that they would like to read? Anyone? Sean, yes.
I have a typing prompt for the second time in a row. I feel like I'm becoming a keener, but
all right.
I typed it on Olympia, but I posted it on my IBM letterhead because weird thing. My brain works in weird ways.
There we go.
So I saw Eric's shirt, the Nashville typewriter. I just saw Kirk's post on Instagram where he picked up a whack of IBM Selectrics. And so that's how my mind works. So that's why I typed this on IBM letterhead.
Nice.
Write a letter to your imaginary friend. Dear George, I was looking for old pictures the other day and I found the one where we were playing City with all our Dinky and Matchbox cars. Feelings of guilt washed over me as I haven't given you a thought in 32 years or so. Well, I'm at least reaching out to you now. Better late than never, I guess. I found you on LinkedIn, quite by accident, actually. I saw that you had gotten into being the monster under the bed for a bit. How did that go? I can imagine that you were sure to get a lot of chuckles when those little jerks are screaming their heads off at night. Except that I imagine it's not all that fun when they pee the bed and it soaks through. I was surprised to see that you also did some haunting for a few years. I don't know how you enjoyed that. That probably wouldn't have gotten many laughs. What makes it worse is that it looks like it was a contract haunting job, which probably sucks. I hesitate to ask if you ever had any other real friends since me, or at least as good as I was. I'm older now and a little more grounded, so I'm okay with the reality that that may not have been the case. But man, we had some good times playing Army, Navy, Cars, Spies, and all those other great games. It really helped me develop the creativity I have now. So thank you for everything you did. You were my best imaginary friend, and I wish you all the best. You're always welcome to write back or come by for a visit. Signed, Sean.
Oh, excellent.
That was great.
Now, Sean, are you planning a reunion with your imaginary friend?
You know what? As I was writing the letter, I realized it's okay to invite him back, but the adult mind doesn't allow that imaginary friend, I think, to come in. I think you close certain doors over time where I could have a conversation. I mean, not a weird, crazy, like, red rum type conversation. But, when you're little, you can imagine somebody and then play and interact and do the whole thing. I don't have the capacity to do that now, so I can still be creative, but I don't have that other personality available anymore. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get a visit.
Well, you just have to find your inner child.
He's here all the time.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
Yeah. Gotta find the adult.
Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that, Sean. Anyone else? Anyone? Anyone? Rich, did you want to read yours, or you could, if you don't want to read it, you could also tell us about it, or.
Well, I'm happy to share it. It's 3 pages long, so it'll probably take 6 to 8 minutes to read it. I don't know.
That's okay.
Okay. So it's called, as you might imagine, Imaginary Friend. The letter came addressed to me in my mailbox without postage. Odd, I thought, that it had no postage. Perhaps someone simply put it in my box without postal assistance. I don't receive much mail, and the peculiarity of its arrival was a curiosity indeed. I hastened back to my car to open the letter and discover its contents. It was a particularly tough day at work, as had been many of my recent days, and I was eager for the distraction. I fumbled with the door in the slippery rain, my haste making the wait all the more suspenseful. Once in the car, with the steady drumming of the raindrops overhead, I studied the envelope. It was made of fine linen paper. The addressee was accurate and complete, my full name and address. Unfortunately, there was no return address. There was no indication that this was even a business mailing. The linen was a faint parchment shade of yellow, and it wasn't entirely clear that this coloration wasn't due to aging. In fact, my name and address appeared to have been typed with a typewriter, as attested by the indentations I felt when running my fingers over the letters. So who would send me a typed letter? I knew nobody else with a typewriter in this day of technology. I tried my best to solve the riddle using my observations of just the outside of the envelope, but this proved futile. I inserted a pocket knife blade between the envelope flap and its glue. Carefully, I pried the two apart, wiggling and curving the blade as I maneuvered it from one end of the envelope to the other. Eventually, the envelope was open. I peered in, and there was a single sheet of the letter folded in thirds, with any lettering apparently folded inwards. I set the envelope down and unfolded the sheet. About 5 lines down, it read, "To my imaginary friend." There were no other words. I flipped the sheet over impatiently, looking for anything else that I might have missed. Other than a brown stain on the corner of the paper, there were no other markings. So I was an imaginary friend? In whose imagination did I reside? The envelope was addressed to me, so clearly I was the intended recipient. So why? And why was there no other wording on this letter? Was I to imagine what was written on it? Was it an imaginary letter as well? Perhaps it was the sender that was imaginary. What could have been the motive for sending me this mysterious letter? And what possible response did they expect from me? Frustrated, I folded the page and stuffed it back into the envelope, then slid the envelope into my briefcase. I started the car and drove home in the rain. I set the letter upon my desk in my study and began my evening routine, forgetting about this slightly entertaining misadventure. About 3 hours later, as I rested to the sound of the pummeling storm from the comfort of my sofa, the phone rings. In the haze of my near slumber, I am annoyed at having to get up and go to my kitchen counter to find the phone. I pick up the phone, see that the caller is imaginary friend. Surprised, I quickly try to answer the phone. Alas, I am too late. The caller hung up. I try to make sense of what just happened and hold the phone in disbelief. I suddenly realize that I can call back, and so I dial for the return call. After some number of rings, the phone responds. This number has been disconnected and is no longer in service. Was that an imaginary phone call? I look at the phone again, and now there is no indication that I ever received a call, not even an indication that I made the call. I struggle to understand whether what just happened to me was real or contrived by my subconscious. As surely as I am standing, I confirm that I am indeed awake, and this was not some manifestation of a dream. Quickly, I grab a cup of tea and hurry up the stairs to get my letter. As I hurried, I wondered how the letter and that call are related. At my desk, I reach for the letter, but it is not there. I searched the desk in vain. Surely that wasn't also a product of my imagination. I searched the floor about my desk, turned my briefcase inside out, and even checked in the car. There is no letter. Nervously, I conclude that none of this really happened. For my sanity, it is a conclusion I must draw. It is with my innermost frustration that I acquiesce and acknowledge that my senses have been duped by some sinister form of hallucination, that perhaps the stresses of the day have caused me to leave my earthly senses in search of some other place, some place that could fulfill a void, an inner need for some sort of comfort. And so, accordingly, I set about to embrace it. At the risk of flinging myself off the precipice of reality, I decided to join in the madness. I am apparently mad after all, it would seem. Sitting down at my desk, I reach into a drawer and extract a single sheet of linen paper. It is fine parchment tinted sheet, my usual stash, suitable for the 1912 Continental typewriter that I feed it into. Hurriedly, I roll the paper to the 5th line and type, "To my imaginary friend." Now, I am in a mood to tell this person off, to let them know what frustration they have set upon me. But no, I must be careful. I don't know what forces I am confronting and to whom I would send this to anyway. Better that I restrain myself until I determine what I am up against. The rain relentlessly continues to drum, and the lightning flashes belie the thunder that continuously rocks the house. What is it exactly that I am up against? In light of the risks of the unknown, I resolve to restraint. Pulling the paper out of the typewriter, I set it on the desk and pull out a similar envelope. I insert the envelope into the Continental and stare blankly, wondering to whom I should mail this letter. More thunder pounds, making me crazed with urgency, and at present, a bolt strikes near my house. The lights flicker and the walls thump angrily. In want of an addressee, I mindlessly just type my full name, then my address. The sudden quake of another thunder causes me to bump my teacup just enough for it to splash out of my desk, wetting the corner of my letter. Fortunately, I have a towel and soak it up before it can do too much damage. Then I hastily fold the slight damp sheet into thirds and stuff it into the envelope and then seal it closed. If I am only to send it to me, then I don't need postage or even a return address. So I put the envelope in my briefcase along with my other outgoing mail for tomorrow's postbox run. In the morning, the storm is cleared and the sun shines. I drive to the mailbox and drop off my outgoing mail to include my imaginary friend letter. That was 23 years ago. Every day I search for that letter when I retrieve my mail, but after these decades, it has never shown. I often question whether the events of that stormy night actually occurred. Did I really receive that letter? Did I really get and make a phone call? Did I really type a letter and mail it the next morning? I would like to think that since I heard nothing further of the matter since that strange day, perhaps I only happened upon a momentary madness, one that arrived, culminated, and departed in a curiously short span of time, and now I am recovered. As these many years have passed, I wonder less frequently, but no less deeply. In the final act, I return from my mailbox one evening. Of course, no letter from my imaginary friend is delivered, but as I sit at my desk and once again ponder the impossibility of that strange set of circumstances, I laugh at my imagination, even thanking myself for the misadventure and my ability to move on from it. Decidedly, I shed the frustration and replace it in gratitude. The gratitude the experience deserves, for it alone returned me from my malaise, a tunnel of stress, mostly from work, and it brought me into a new light. At that moment, as is the habit of a writer, I reach for a sheet of paper from my drawer. As I pull out a sheet, I notice some typed words on it. It read, "You're welcome." Yeah.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Excellent.
Love it.
That.
Wow. Very good.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Oh, wow. That was
Good job.
great.
That's great.
Excellent.
That
All
kind of story
right.
would give Natasha a run for her money, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I
yes.
know.
Yeah. I can't even write a song that good.
Oh,
great.
love your songs.
My
Would
songs
make
are
a good
cute.
song too.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
songs are cute, but your story's good. Great.
That was very
Yeah,
good. It reminded me of Twilight Zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you're reading, I could just picture every scenario in my mind and go
Yeah.
through it with you. That's
Yeah.
a well-written story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Anyone else? That's gonna be hard to follow up, but anyone else?
Unfortunately, I never had like an imaginary friend, but my friends and I, we would role play together. You know, we pretend we were superheroes or
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, and you know, we'd play imaginary people together. But I never had an imaginary friend, but probably because I didn't spend a whole lot of time alone. You know, I had siblings, and lots of neighborhood kids to play with, and so I guess I never needed an imaginary friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did mention at the very beginning that I'm certain I had an imaginary friend. I don't remember what his name was, but basically he was just an excuse for me to talk to myself. So I don't think I really ever did anything with him. It was more like just an excuse to talk out loud, basically. So
Right.
I guess I thought that was more acceptable than literally just talking to yourself.
Oh, airplane flying over. Better watch out.
What's
Yeah, I
that?
can hear it. We can
Oh
hear it.
yeah,
Airplane
Hear the
flying over. Better
airplane.
watch out.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Telling you.
All right. Bye, Curry. Curry signing off. Good to see you.
Oh, take care, Curry. Good to see you again.
All right. Bye, Curry.
Yes.
Yes, we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank
Definitely.
you so
Take care.
much.
And Kimberly, I didn't mean to mention, yes, I got your letter.
Hey.
Excellent. Let's see. Oh, did anybody else have any typing prompts or questions or comments or anything before we sign off? No.
So is Typing Talk on for next Saturday?
Yes. So it's from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, and that's Pacific time, of course. So
yeah.
And we are on standard time now. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to show my typewriter earlier.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
for it.
I'll put this up here.
Oh wow, it's a
Triumph.
triumph.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, apparently De Jure was the importer here in the States. And it's very hard to find any information about this model online. It's a quick writer. And there's one posted on the typewriter database, and that's it.
Wow.
And so I really don't know what to say about it. It's looks like it's maybe somewhere in between the norm and the perfect models. It doesn't have a key set tabulator. It has a the manual tab sets in the back of the machine. And but my first car was a Triumph, so it was kind of a tie-in to that. And I'd actually had a chance to try one of these last year, a similar model over at Ace Typewriter. So I like the machine quite a bit. And so my old Spitfire was like a two-tone brown, and so this seemed like the one to go for.
So these were German made, and
yes,
it turns out that the British Triumph Motor Car Company licensed the name and logo from the German typewriter company.
Well, they're all started by the same guy, Siegfried. I started writing up a blog post about it. This guy, Siegfried, and I can't remember his last name, but he started off. Triumph Work was the typewriter and bicycle company, and he at some point, I guess, he moved to Coventry, England, and so Triumph Motorcycles, Triumph Motor Works, Triumph Engineering was the motorcycle company. Triumph Motorworks was the car company, and Triumph Work was the typewriter bicycle company. But he was responsible for starting all of those.
All of them, okay.
Although they were separate companies.
I see. Okay.
So that's I guess Robert Messenger had some of the information on his blog, which is kind of like the encyclopedia of typewriters.
Bill, I've been wanting to get an orange Gia typewriter to go with my
yeah
orange Gia. I got a blue one, but I need an orange one.
Gosh, I actually just saw one somewhere this past week. I don't know if it's out on Shop Goodwill or
really.
Yeah, you might check that. I'm trying to remember.
You're right.
I feel like I saw it on Shop Goodwill too.
I think I saw the same one. It's been a few
Keep
weeks.
my eye
maybe.
open. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a club here that we can all keep an APB out for Eric, so we can get.
Well, actually, now that you mention that, it was interesting. In my one of my letter exchanges with Michael Rao, he was talking about the possibility of setting up like some type of a typewriter exchange or some thought along those lines. And I had actually notified him. I saw out on my wife's on Facebook, and so I guess his wife is on Facebook too, but neither of us really participate. But I was able to check Facebook Marketplace and saw a really good deal on a Latera 32 that he had been looking for. So I sent him off a letter to let him know. I didn't have like an email address or anything. And but like I noticed recently the place here nearby, Portland, where I bought my first typewriter, they've got like a SM3 with a script typeface, and like I'm guessing there might be a few people that would be interested in that. So it's like, I don't know if there was a board, if there was like a place on Type Pals where somebody was able to note I'm looking for or something, like I might be one of the few people in the world that doesn't have an interest in cursive typefaces. But if I could help somebody procure a machine, somehow I'd be willing to do that, possibly if we were able to figure out a system. So that might be something to put some thought into, because like some folks have so many typewriters, they've owned a little bit of everything. They might know of, how to help somebody else find something that doesn't have access to many things in their area. I don't think anybody would really like the prices here in Portland very much, but it made me think about Mike's idea when I saw that. So
yeah. Well, on
There are
Type,
some Facebook.
go ahead.
I was going to say there are some Facebook groups, but you're talking about a non-Facebook situation, which
Well,
I
just
would be all for.
yeah, just like among this group of folks that
Yeah.
gathers. I don't. Again, I have no idea how to work out the logistics for something like that. But when I saw that Olympia with the script typeface, it really made me think that there's probably somebody that'd really like to have that, and I know that this seller, typically all the machines they sell are in good working order, and if there's any issues, they usually point that out in their listing. So food for thought.
Yeah, definitely. So on Type Pals, there's actually two forums. So there's the member forum, which would be members only, and then there's also a public forum. And I would think that the public forum would be a more likely place for something like that, just because anyone that goes to the site would be able to access it and interact and stuff like that. So it would be a broader audience. The forums have not been extremely active, and yet I've also been shocked at how many people have taken the time to post in there. So I'm very pleased about that, and I am going to be doing a series of videos related to Type Pals, promoting the different features, and also hopefully drumming up some more memberships. So again, in particular, I want to get more international members, so to try and because we're very North America centric right now, so I would like to change that. But yeah, the forums could be a possible place for doing something like that you're talking about, Bill. Yeah. Oh, real quick, I wanted to share we have quite a few comments on YouTube. Oh, where'd it go? Why is it showing that?
I can see him.
Let's see. Do you see a countdown?
No.
No?
The comments.
Let me try this again. This one. Okay, there we go. So there was one in particular. From Desiree Gillespie, and I believe this was during Rich's reading. This story is warming my heart. So I want to be sure and share that comment there. But we do have Lee Kennedy watching, or she was some time ago anyway. And then Diane was in the comments there for a bit. Emily Tillman. She also liked your intro, Sean.
Thanks, Emily.
Then Andrew Czar. Thanks everyone. Lots of great info and good stories. Just got my first typewriter, Skywriter 3Y series, all in good shape, cleaning now. Can't wait to start typing. Excellent. That's very good news. Then we have Taz B.
Hello, I am Greg,
Uh-oh.
board typist, and welcome to another
Why is that playing?
episode.
Your imaginary friend.
I guess that was my imaginary friend. Let's see. Now I'm not sure how to. Oh, okay. All right. Can you see the chat again?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Okay. So I lost my place. Okay.
Tasby's getting the number 4.
Yes. Thank
He's
you.
gonna catch up with me, Taz.
Yeah. I have 4 with 1 on the way from Germany. It's a 1954 Antares Parva. I have the Antares Compact. So a very nice little machine. Oh my goodness. My computer's going wacky. Then Andrew Zara says, awesome. Tasby, great job, Rich. Another compliment on your story and your reading as well.
Thank you.
And Andrew Zar, is there any outlet to purchase parts? It looks like I need a new screw for my carriage return. I know there's the Facebook group, something about typewriter sales, antique typewriter sales and parts or something like that.
There's a parts and exchange page, and there's also a typewriter maintenance page usually has some stuff.
Okay. Thank you. And then Liz G.
I see that. Yeah, Liz, I will check my email. Thanks.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. So we're caught up on the comments. Any other typing prompts or questions or comments before we sign out?
I think it was Liz G who favorited my Etsy shop, but I can't be sure. But it was. Thanks, Liz.
Okay. Excellent. Very good.
And just so you guys know,
right.
I do have an outro too that I worked on that I thought was cool. But you won't be able to hear sound, but at least before I leave, I'll play it and then.
Okay.
Does it involve the hat?
You know what? You'll see. And you know what? Some of you will get it and like it, and others will maybe not get it, not appreciate it as much. But
when I was a kid, I had a fascination with the Shriners because the town that I grew up in always had an annual parade that was a really big deal. It's called the Threshermen's Reunion, and all the old steam tractors would run through the downtown blocks, and the Shriners always had their formation go-kart team with their fezzes on, but those guys have got nothing on that hat that you have, Sean. That's pretty impressive.
I want a good standard red fez eventually, so.
It seems like it's all downhill after the one you've got, though. That hat there is pretty amazing.
Right? You can't beat Dumbledore. All right. Well, I think we're going to end it here. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of it. I always enjoy my time with you, and I'm very thankful for the community we have here. So, and welcome again to Rich, and thank you for sharing your typing prompt, and good luck to Natasha. And remind us again what time your interview is.
4:30 p.m. Central.
Okay. That's
Gosling.
And it's on the Goslings.
Yes.
On YouTube. Awesome.
Very good.
We'll be watching.
All right. Yeah,
Thank
good
you
luck
so
to
much.
you. All right. Well,
Thanks everyone.
And we'll see you
Take care, people.
hopefully next Saturday.
Everybody.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yes.
Sunday.
Saturday.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
All
Thank
right. Thanks,
you.
Gregory.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Happy typing.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm loving Sean's outro. Oh, I love that kind of vintage stuff. I've watched all those old videos. Type how to be a secretary. Love that film footage.
It's time for you kids to go to bed.
Hey, now that Gregory
Typewriters on
left, we can
TV.
have our own meeting now. Oh, no, he didn't leave. Sorry.
Oh, I'm good. We're
Okay.
trying to pull one.
Take care, people.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
Bye, all.